Hello? Hello? Okay. I have arrived. Sorry, I had some cables tangled up. I'm charging my... whatchamacallit? The money-absorbing device. And, it was tangled up with my mic somehow. But now it's fine. Anyway, I've got a convention weekend coming, so I'm gonna be pretty busy. So let's just do something lazy today. Meaning we're gonna react Andy to some shit that you guys have been sending me, which there is a lot of because it's been a little bit since we watched these. There's a few ones. I did a things World's Worst Inventors I have already seen. I think last time we finished our watching session to the repeatedly killed in my winter car video. So we have Bad Dragon Rally tortured my viewers. I'm kind of worried to see what this is. But we're gonna start with this. Oh, it's a great length for a video. No pun intended with the Bad Dragon reference. We're gonna grab this one. Then we have one called the Abandoned Winx Club theme park, which sounds like a fucking liminal space. So we're gonna sort of check these out. There's also a thing called The Scariest Place in the Universe, and it's about supervoids, which I don't know what they are, so that seems interesting. So we're gonna watch that too, and we're gonna go on from there until we come across this awful video called Adult Babies Are Trying to Buy a Town, which sounds stressful to put it very lightly. But anyway, convention weekend incoming, so I'm gonna be taking it easy. What the fuck is this?
The other week I ran a Dirt Rally 2 speedrun competition where the winners got Bad Dragon gift cards to spend on many wholesome things.
Of course. Of course, that's okay. Cool. Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's like we're not even trying to like sort of let me get my woolly coat. It's a little bit chilly. We're not even trying to beat the allegations that all furries are perverts. We see a furry avatar, and the first thing we hear is that we're buying gifts for Bad Dragon gift cards. Great. Also, great chat blog on whatever thingy. Yet again, not showing me. I think one of the places I saw some comments popping up on the screen, but I cannot see them in the chat widget. It is fantastic. But yeah, I don't know what's going on with it. Well, let me actually reset it. Docs, chat. No, I don't. There we go. Oh no, it didn't reset. Well. Oh well. As usual, working great. But yeah.
Sure. Day 1. The track I selected for the speedrun was Weimarama Point Forward, because it starts twisty, straightens out and gets fast in the middle, and then gets twisty at the end. So I figured it would be a pretty good test of skill. And what do you know? I was right, but not entirely for the reasons I thought. Turns out pretty much the entire track is lined with tiny rock lips that actively hate you, your whole family, and your tires, which French boy found out while making incredibly French noises.
What is he even gonna do with the fucking Bad Dragon toys?
The speedrun Discord,
Make some
literally hundreds of people started doing runs and making some
French
banger
fries
videos while they were at it, and they all collectively started going insane, including Acer, who probably cracked open a Jack Daniels and found one of the most devious skips I've ever seen in my life. You know what else is devious? Skeel not only doing a run with the dogs out, but gripping the pedals. Why would you do this? You know I have to watch the whole run to verify it, right, you freak? Anyway, once French boy actually completed a run, he was on exactly the same pace as Brexit Geezer Pro Toaster, but ended up being 1 second behind due to a string of minor fuck-ups. French and British relations were at an all-time low. Now you might be wondering who's leading. That's where a certain highly processed tower of meat comes in. This person, Evo the Baconator, came in on the first day and does this. Sure, they didn't actually get the world record, but they were firmly in first place, at least for now, and Rabutu83's days were numbered. Day 2. Since I'm the one running the event, it's crucial I stay unbiased. I should not have a favorite player no matter what. Okay, listen, you might judge me, but look at how goated these fuckers are. They were the first driver and co-driver team, and the only competitive one. They have a custom livery, they play in VR, they use mic filters to make it sound like
I've
a
added
real rally
YouTube chat widget here as well, since at least it works, unlike the other one, so I can kind of see what's going on, kind of. I think I've seen the Void thing, interesting subject. Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. And reacting to videos. Yeah, that's what we're doing today.
And the co-driver's name is Goose. Holy shit. But enough glaze because they were on the bottom half of the scoreboard right now. But not as low as I'm Not GLaDOS. But they did a run while controlling the game with a Rubik's Cube somehow. So justified last place on that one. Also, how the fuck...
This just in. Global tensions rise as France performs a devastating strike against Great Britain with an 8:37 time, placing France 7 places above their rival. The British public is devastated by this, with some even saying,
"Oi cunt, that's a bit of bullshit. I'ma pop down to the Maccas to cope."
In other news, Hatsune Miku was seen phasing in and out of existence on the dash of rally driver FL 2646, and 2 sub-8 runs have hit the leaderboard, from Martron7 and Afon Jaeger, who is merely 1 second behind our current leader, Evo the Baconator. Some are skeptical if Evo will hold that place for much longer.
Day 3. Now that Evo was under pressure from Afon Jaeger, they felt the need to extend their lead and hit another run.
Uh-oh.
And, they didn't beat the record. They fucking smashed it! Eat shit, random Dutch guy! And while Evo was doing that, 3 days of rallying and crashing into trees...
Why are these people so desperate to get fucking Bad Dragon products?
Diagrams of the NASCAR skip, and doing drugs, and...
Is it free shipping?
Did I put caution in there? I did, and I am not announcing that. I really should.
Also, the British fought back with an 8:36.
And that's still like a minute late.
French a few hours later. Day 4. So it's been 4 days, and no one has touched Evo Baconator. Would anybody be able to challenge such a dominant lead? By being slightly faster through the last twisty section, which the server started calling Vietnam, Silver Jesco came in from the top rope and beat Evo by a second, which in turn made it so you had to have a sub-8 run to be anywhere near the top. But things were still getting heated lower down. The Anglo-French war was still going on, with Pro Toaster dropping a monstrous 825, but this time, France was on the back foot, because French boy had a debuff called Having a Real Life, so he couldn't lay down any more times after widening the gap by a few seconds with the Hail Mary.
That one's
if
a tough
Pro
one.
Toaster could beat that time, the British would win. But who cares about that shit when Suicide and Goose got sub-9, and Rubik's Cube driver made it out of last place, baby. Woo! Day 5. After nearly a whole week of looking at and crashing into the same trees...
What kind of bragging rights are there to owning a fucking Bad Dragon toy? Are you gonna put that on your fucking trophy case? I don't think so.
The entire chat filled with so much gay art, Bad Dragon felt a disturbance in the force and actually hit me up to send merch. I mean, I said no, but that's still fucking funny. Also, our favorite artery blocking driver wasn't happy about losing first place, so they went and did this. Don't ask me how they did it while holding the wheel with their buns. Evo essentially secured that large medium firmness Anubis the Destroyer in Ectoplasm Blue. Day 6. Just because first place was out of reach doesn't mean
Anubis the Destroyer in Ectoplasm Blue. That is so specific.
Up for grabs. And Marchron 7 firmly grabbed third place and ripped it out.
Who wants the bragging rights for winning this tournament? Who the fuck does?
Furries, get up. What happened? You're supposed to be good at niche games. I put my hopes in you. Speaking of furries, Zodaxa streamed for 30 fucking hours straight, trying to get a sub-9 time. And while running Waimarama Sprint Reverse to practice the second half of the stage...
That's it. That's all it's got. I don't know if that comes up on the mic.
In the first.
Come on, come on.
Did his car break down or something?
Oh, 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 oh!
Now this might come as a shock to you, but New Zealand is a real place, and Waimārama Point is a real stage. And I have a New Zealandish viewer named Nova, who went to the stage in real life, and as is par for the course...
Okay.
crashed their real actual car. Salute to the absolute fucking insane dedication.
Why?
French War.
Why would you do this?
UPB, but was still behind the French Hail Mary. But then, a few hours later...
They're still like a minute behind.
With the clock
They haven't
down,
grown at
French
all.
Boy went down swinging, but it was over. The British had won by 6 seconds. Paris had fallen. Suicide and Goose got another run-in and placed above average and were the fastest team by far. Hell yeah, brother. Enzo Daxa, after streaming for 30 hours straight, finally got a sub-9. But the battle at the top was not over. Martron 7 was closing the gap to second the whole last day.
50. Too long. Tightens. Into 5 right. 3 right long. Into 5 opens. 6 long.
At the last possible second, A's joined the server and stole third, leaving our final top 3 as Evo, Silver Jesco, and A's. And with that, the server was coming to a close. But weirdly, no one was celebrating. Over the last week, the server had built a sense of community around the suffering of this rally, and they were exchanging solemn goodbyes. And when I started locking down the server, they went down singing My Way. Anyways, congrats to the winners, and if you ever want to see that server unlocked again, you better comment and sub so I can make my money back on this video.
So confused. I'm so confused. What the fuck? Fuck. No, I'm sorry. I already have a bunch of videos that people from my community have sent me. We're gonna check this one next. Abandoned Winx Club theme park, which sounds like a liminal space. So let's check it out.
It was in 2005 or 2006 to a journalist like you, and they asked me what would be your biggest dream for your character in the next few years. And I say I would like to have them in a kind of Rainbow Land, a theme park in Rome.
Winx Club was never that popular. It was like a Saturday morning cartoon. Maybe there was like a few like Barbie dolls or something along those lines. But like, it wasn't that popular, was it? I don't think so. Right? I mean, the characters were ugly as shit. This is definitely gonna be like a horror video. I can already tell.
In 1995, Italian animator Eugenio Straffi founded a small animation studio he called Rainbow. In its early years, the company kept the lights on by completing commission work for larger, more established productions until in the early 2000s they began to secure just enough funds to create the first of their original works, including the CD-ROM turned animated series Tommy and Oscar and later the series Prezzemolo. And although their projects were almost always well received, none of them really became big enough to truly give Rainbow Studios their breakthrough, until in 2004
God
when
fucking
everything changed.
damn it, she has some impressive merch.
On the 28th of January 2004, Rainbow released Winx Club, their magical girl fantasy series following the lives and adventures of Bloom, Stella, Flora...
Yeah, but like all of these characters are like... They're like, it's clear that they're kind of trying to be like anime, but their faces look so awful. Their faces look like it's like one of those fucking how to draw manga guides from like the 2010s. Like it's one of those this look. I've never liked them. I always thought they were ugly as shit.
Tekna, Aisha,
I'm
and
glad
Lisa
they
as
went
they
away.
attend the Alpha
They're so
School of
ugly.
Fairies and keep the magic dimension safe. And unlike Rainbow's prior ventures, the
I
series
hate
became
them.
an immediate smash hit. Almost overnight, Winx Club became one of the most successful Italian media properties ever produced, airing in more than 130 countries and becoming a multi-million-dollar franchise. In fact, the series was so successful that Eugenio Straffi became something of a national icon, with Italian publications quickly dubbing him the Italian Walt Disney. After all, the two had a lot in common. Both came from humble backgrounds and found a love for drawing and cartoons at an early age. Both went on to establish their own animation studios and achieved their first mainstream success in their late 30s, and both are widely considered pioneers of their home country's animation industry. But there was one thing that Walt Disney had that Eugenio Straffi notably didn't. A theme park. In 2000...
It's like how to say that it has gone into your head a little bit without saying that it has gone into your head a little bit. I want to be the next Disney. Well, Disney had a theme park, so I have to have one too. God damn.
In 2009, Eugenio Straffi wanted a theme park. He had actually wanted one for a couple of years by then, basically from the moment Winx became a phenomenon, but it wasn't until the end of the decade that he actively began working towards making the dream a reality. In 2008, he licensed the Winx Club brand to the Aquafan water park in Iccione, Italy, allowing the park to hold a dedicated Winx Day to celebrate the Winx magazine's 50th issue. Attendees were able to meet the Winx, watch them perform, and receive free merchandise.
I can promise you this. Even if I become insanely popular and I become really, really successful and people like actually really, really start enjoying my works like on like mainstream level, there will not be a Mae-mae theme park. At least I will not make one. I will not be a part of that shit. Unless someone gives me a lot of money for doing it. But I'm not going to be taking any responsibility for it. Someone else can do it, like a publisher or something can make the theme park. I don't give a shit. I just want the money. If I just get the money, I'm okay with it. But I'm not gonna be there. I'm not gonna do anything there, and I won't associate with it in any sense, except the money that goes into my pockets for it. This is an official disclaimer. All I care about for shit like that is the money, nothing else. Okay? Thank you very much. This has been my TED Talk on money, a thing that I do like.
With an impressive 6,500 visitors traversing to the park for the occasion. And that incredibly high number, combined with the domestic popularity of Rainbow's other properties like Monster Allergy and the then newly released Huntic Secrets and Seekers, led to Straffi finally deciding to go all in on a dedicated Rainbow Studios theme park. But as it turns out, creating a theme park is a little bit harder than one might think. Building a new park from scratch requires a whole lot of money, a whole lot of land, and a whole lot of boring paperwork and...
Yeah, they do kind of look like Code Lyoko characters, and Code Lyoko characters are ugly as fucking... like, no. They're so fucking ugly. Like, immensely ugly.
Legal stuff. But you know what doesn't require as much boring legal stuff? Licensing out your properties to an already existing or soon...
Like, something I don't really understand is, like, if you're not trying to make your characters look funny, why would you ever make them, like, unlikable looking? Like, why would you ever make them ugly like that? I don't understand. I have very strict aesthetics. Everything needs to be cute and pretty. If it's not, I don't fucking care. This has been my TED Talk on things. Also, this is such a fucking creepy little freak. Like, imagine this, like, fucking... They look like fucking sleep paralysis demons. I don't like them. I don't like them.
Exist theme park. And luckily
Like,
for...
this look right here, behind, on the pillow right here. This is okay. This is like a nice, sort of general, well-proportioned character face. It's not one of these freaks with these fucking freaky-ass, cheapo, stupid-looking, plasticky eyes. No.
Rainbow and Eugenio Straffi, such an opportunity just happened to be waiting for them. All the way back in 2001, plans were announced for a new theme park to be built just outside of Rome. Originally called Terra Magica and later renamed Wonder Rome, the park was going to be Italy's answer to Disneyland or Universal Studios, with a shopping district and huge park full of distinctly themed areas and attractions. Construction finally began in 2005, and then it abruptly stopped. For unknown reasons, the park's progression quickly came to a halt, and its opening date was continuously pushed back until there was just no date at all, leaving the park's future nothing short of uncertain, but leaving an opening for Rainbow to swoop in. The studio purchased a 10% share of the park and granted them a 10-year licensing agreement that allowed Rainbow's properties to be used in attractions, shows, and promotional material. And in return, the studio gained significant creative influence over the park's design while helping pay for its development. Terra Magica and Wonder Rome were no more, but Rainbow Magic Land was born. And so construction began again.
That's such an
Development
awful
Group
name.
Project was brought on to
That is such
completely
an awful
overhaul the
name.
park's previous plans, and very quickly it was decided that a major feature of this new version of the park would be a land dedicated to Winx Club. Early concept art showed a life-size version of the Althea School for Fairies standing dramatically over a large water feature, with promotional material describing it as the heart of the entire park. And alongside it would be a Winx attraction and collection of buildings not unlike those seen in the Winx world of Magics. It was ambitious, and given the park's troubled history, for many it also felt a little too good to be true. The park was set to open in 2011, a full decade after it was first announced to the public and 6 years after construction first began, a timeline that rightfully led to skepticism. So going into the park's opening, the question was simple. Would Rainbow Magic Land live up to its own hype? Or was it a domino-level
What?
disaster waiting to happen?
There was no
Welcome
hype.
to the
There was
Winx
no
Club
hype
Park.
for Rainbow Magic Land.
Rainbow
only one
Magic Land was officially inaugurated on the
What the
25th of
fuck?
May
They actually made it?
2011, and although the park wouldn't officially open its doors to the public until the next day, the inauguration ceremony still gave excited fans a taste of what was to come. Attended by Eugenio Straffi, park officials, and politicians, the ceremony featured a performance by the park's newly assembled entertainment team, which notably included 6 face characters of the Winx. They wore never-before-seen Believix costumes, coinciding with the then most recent Season 4, and performed a selection of songs from both the Magic Land original soundtrack and the Winx show. The performance was relatively short, but more importantly, as it came to its close, a very Italian ribbon was cut, and after nearly a decade of development hell, Rainbow Magic Land was officially open for business. So let's go back in time to a day at Rainbow Magic Land in 2011. As guests entered through the park's large decorative
Oh,
gates,
it looks
they were
like
led
gates
into
to
a Main
hell.
Street-style avenue lined with shops, restaurants, and themed buildings.
It's
Here,
kind of...
guests could buy their Rainbow Magic Land merch or sit around small gardens to escape the heat, but further along, the street gradually widened, the surrounding structures fell away, and the path opened up to reveal a massive artificial lake, at the end of which stood a life-size recreation of the Althea School for Fairies. The concept art come to life. But from this central area, visitors looking for their share of
It looks
thrills
okay.
might go left towards the park's
Like,
drop
if I
tower
was,
or
like,
spinning roller
a
coaster.
5-year-old girl, I think I would be excited to be here. Like anyone else? Yeah, you know. But, you know, the target audience? Yeah, maybe, sure, maybe.
But those with taste, also known as those attending for the Winx experience, would go to the right. They would traverse beneath the park's largest roller coaster
I would not
shop
go on
and
that,
pass by
though.
2 small
Fuck
dining
that.
locations before they were eventually welcomed by the first Winx attraction, and effectively, the entrance to the Winx Club theme park. It was a large cage structure topped with statues of the 6 Winx fairies posed mid-flight against a large rainbow. It was Believix, later renamed Pianetta Winx. This attraction was a suspended dark ride where guests were invited to, quote, climb aboard the magical leaves boat and let the Winx guide you as you explore the lush forest, meet legendary creatures, and witness spectacular battles. And that description was relatively accurate. In reality, guests would board a floral ride vehicle and travel through a sequence of fantasy environments decorated with statues of the Winx. The ride opened with a pixie village where guests were welcomed by Bloom before they moved through a forest scene alongside Flora and an underwater world with Aisha. This portion of the ride is where a majority of the fantastical creatures were located, including sirens emerging from clams, an octopus and/or squid and/or kraken, and a collection of small seahorses. But the ride would then exit the water and Musa would point guests towards a sort of land of light, where Stella greeted them and they continued over crystals and through caves. Before finally, guests would meet Tekna and pass over the final show scene, a campsite where Winx dolls were suspended using literal fishing line. Riders would then depart and exit via the left side of the attraction, where directly to their left was the Piccolo Teatro, also known as the Children's Theatre, which will be more important later, so remember it. But after enjoying a ride on Pianetta Winx, Winx fans would continue to travel anti-clockwise.
Like, I can understand the appeal of these, like, sort of like, how would I call it? Like diorama rides almost? Like where you sort of just sit there and you see like dolls doing something. But from the looks of it, most of it was completely stationary. So it's just these scenes. Like imagine if you watched an episode of Winx Club, but it was actually like 5 pictures in total for the entire episode, and you're just staring at those for like 10 minutes. I wonder how much the entrance fee to this park was.
Wise and into Il Regno de Piccolo, which roughly translates to the Small Kingdom, and was a children's sub-area themed primarily to Pop Pixie. For those unaware, the Pixies were a magical creature introduced in Winx Club's second season, and 6 years
I
later,
hate them. They're so ugly. These are just so unlikable looking creatures. Pooey.
Their own short-lived spin-off called Pop Pixie. The show began airing in 2011, not long before the park opened, and as a result, this Toontown-style area was basically a huge cross-promotion for the then-new series. Designed as a sort of walkthrough environment, the land invited guests to explore colourful pixie houses and storybook-style buildings, while also offering a selection of family-friendly attractions, including but not limited to Pop Flowers, a spinning teacup ride, Popala, a balloon race ride, Pixie River, a small river rapids ride, Pop Tower, a pull-up tower, the Pixie Train, a small train, obviously, Pop Sight, a Ferris wheel, Elf Forest, some bumper cars, and finally, Pop Race and Pop Flight, 2 aerial carousel rides, most of which were built by European ride manufacturers. And finally, El Reino de Piccolo also included a large restaurant, which for some reason wasn't called the Fruity Music Bar, but was instead called the Magic Station Bar, meaning guests could fuel up before they left the children's area and continued towards arguably the Winx attraction, and without a doubt, the main reason why Winx fans wanted to visit the park at all. Because after following a short pathway, guests would be led to the 36-meter tall Alfea Castle. A castle that, considering
36 meters is crazy,
reality, was impressively accurate to the series. Just don't pay too much attention to its color. Visitors were free to explore the Alfea courtyard, which was decorated with small gardens and surrounded by the school's iconic rounded windows and balconies. And of course, front and center was the main section of the castle, complete with its large domed roof and grand staircase. Meanwhile, inside Alfea, the main building held a planetarium attraction that showcased a rotating selection of 4D films, while the right side of the building contained a 2-story Winx gift shop, selling everything from Winx shirts to dolls. The store was also decorated with statues of the Winx, cardboard cutouts, and some photo opportunities, including a car prop and flower columns. But back outside, there was more to do than just wander around, because of course, live shows and entertainment were a major part of the Winx experience at Rainbow Magic Land. And here, on the steps of Alfea, guests could catch the first of the many Winx live shows. I Love Winx was a short 5 to 10 minute performance that saw the Winx welcoming guests to the park and performing songs from the show's soundtrack, primarily from season 4 and prior, though over time both the setlist and the costumes of this show would be updated or altered to better reflect the newer seasons. On special occasions, the original park exclusive Believix costumes would be swapped out for Sirenix, before both were ultimately replaced by Bluemix in 2016. And for especially lucky fans,
I'm guessing Sirenix and Bluemix are some kind of like power level differences for these Winxes, kind of like Super Saiyan 3 and 4 and 5 and blue and red and whatever. I'm guessing that's like different power levels for the girls. That's my current assumption.
Park during the Winx magazine parties, the show could even feature a rare Ferragonda face character, who would then hand out gifts after the show ended. Though with all that said, I Love Winx was never designed to be a major theatrical event. In fact, it presented itself more like a flash mob than it did an actual production. So for fans looking for something more, Rainbow Magic Land's main Winx live show was Winx's Magic or Winx Live, a daily show that was performed at the Piccolo Theatre, also known as the theatre I told you to remember earlier. Did you remember it? This show was described by the theme park as an episode of Winx Club come to life, with the Winx singing, dancing, and fighting off the wizards of the Black Circle. Although the last was through a screen, the wizards weren't actually portrayed by live actors, which is unfortunate. But like I Love Winx, over time this show also went through a number of variations, including a Christmas version performed in the planetarium, a summer festival version staged at the Bay Stage, and reportedly even a Halloween version in 2014. Though no
I
footage
hate
of that
those
last
creatures
one
so
seems to
much.
exist. Furthermore, in 2015,
Those little ones.
Winx Live was also updated to match the
They're
then
awful.
current era of the series, with the Wizards of the Black Circle storyline being dropped and the Winx appearing in Bluemix and Season 7 outfits. And finally, during special occasions and when there was high demand, the Grand Teatro, which was typically reserved for large-scale performances like Aladdin and Romeo and Juliet, would be used for Winx in concert. This was another showcase of Winx songs, but with props, backup dancers, and a much more elaborate...
I mean, the success is very respectable, even if the characters are fucking ugly as shit. But I mean, if people like it, I mean, good for them. I don't like how Dragon Ball looks either, but it's still very successful. So just because, it looks ugly doesn't mean that it's not successful. So it's like honestly a huge deal. I haven't really heard anything about the Winx Club for like 15 years. I remember when it started showing on TV. And all I remember thinking about it was that this is like an inferior version of the Totally Spies series. Which was like funnier, better animated. That's about it. so yeah.
Set, and in at least one special performance, an appearance of the incredibly rare Winx in Concert live costumes. Of course though, theme park entertainment doesn't just include shows. Since the opening of Disneyland in 1955, walk-around characters have become extremely popular all around the world, and depending on who you ask, a defining element of the theme park experience. And Rainbow Magic Land, like many international theme parks, embraced this tradition wholeheartedly. During their time at the park, guests could meet the Winx as walk-around face characters, who appeared occasionally in the theme park's parade and held daily meet and greets at the Althea Castle and near the park's entrance. And while initially all 6 of the Winx girls appeared regularly, the number of characters present gradually decreased over time, both in performances and meet and greets, until eventually guests would be lucky if they could even meet 3, which in hindsight, this reduction was one of the earliest indicators that the Winx theme park and Rainbow Magic Land as a whole was beginning to struggle.
That's about right.
In 2018, reports began to surface that Rainbow Magic Land was not in a great...
I feel like the difference here, obviously, is that while even if the Winx Club was insanely popular, and it had to be, because you can't afford to make a fucking theme park if you are not, like, swimming in money. So they must have had a bunch. We're React ending. Hello, Zoltan. They must have had a shitload of money. But the thing is, the big difference here is that Winx Club is a modern thing. It doesn't really have history. It doesn't really have prestige. And it's essentially like one brand. Whereas Walt Disney is like a million different brands working under the same umbrella. Walt Disney isn't just Mickey Mouse. If the entire theme park was just Mickey Mouse, it might be different. But it's Mickey Mouse, it's Donald Duck, it's Goofy, it's Snow White, it's Sleeping Beauty, it's Aladdin, it's the Lion King. There's like so many franchises and so much more like potential for an audience to grasp onto something that, okay, well, I wasn't a big fan of The Little Mermaid, but I really like The Lion King, so I can go to Disneyland and I can enjoy something in there, even if I don't enjoy The Little Mermaid. But this thing only basically has the whole Winx Club thing. So I feel like there isn't really enough to carry it. Like, yeah, there's obviously there's fans, but I feel like this money would have been way better spent sort of in something else. If nothing else, then fucking make more merch or something. It feels like a kind of a wasted potential.
Great economic position, and was in fact in severe financial debt. Attendance simply hadn't met expectations in its first 7 years, leading to growth attempts stalling in 2016 and no new attractions being added to the park since 2013. Investors got cold feet, profits slowed, and unfortunately it wasn't exactly a secret. The park had fallen into...
Because the thing is that Winx Club doesn't really add to itself in the same way that Walt Disney does. Walt Disney gets new, like, completely separate franchises, but Winx Club maybe gets new characters. And it doesn't get new characters like fucking Pokemon or something. And even Pokemon doesn't really have, like, there are, like, small theme park, like, attraction things in Japan, I think, for Pokemon. And there's, like, these pop-up attractions, like, all over the place. But I don't think they have, like a proper theme park like this. So why the fuck does the Winx Club need it when even Pokemon doesn't do it? There's something like kind of wonky here.
A noticeable state of disarray, and nowhere was this more evident than in the Winx land. Props had begun to disappear from the Pianeta Winx ride, and it became plagued with lighting and sound problems. Over in the Pop Pixie subland, many of the
Did people steal them?
balloons wouldn't rise, and on one of the 2 aerial carousels, 2 of the ride vehicles had to be left empty, or the ride simply wouldn't operate. Not to mention, the magical station bar was quite literally falling apart. I'm not exaggerating, it had half a roof. And of course, that was Althea. What was originally a beautiful and lively building had begun to peel and discolor. The towers had become overgrown with weeds, and the entire building had developed a thin layer of what was quickly identified as mold. A problem that could also be seen on the Winx statues outside Pianeta Winx. But that's not all. Inside Althea, by 2017, Flora had lost her hand, and the entire top floor of the building was completely blocked off, with much of the Winx merchandise being replaced with generic Rainbow Magic Land products, leaving the Winx store scarily empty. Simply put, the writing was on the wall, right next to the mold. Rainbow Magic Land couldn't afford, or didn't want to afford, upkeep of the park, especially the Winx land. Though it's also worth acknowledging that at the same time, Winx was undeniably declining in popularity, with budget cuts negatively impacting Season 7 and Nickelodeon all but abandoning the franchise. So it's certainly a possibility that that also played a role in the land's deterioration. But regardless, the Winx theme park's decline had reached a point of no return, and what followed felt almost inevitable. On the 21st of December 2018, it was officially announced that Rainbow Magic Land had been purchased by Pillarstone Italy, an investment firm specializing in distressed assets. And less than a year later, Pillarstone announced that they would be terminating the park's licensing agreement with Rainbow 2 years early. The park would be renamed simply Magic Land, its logo would be redesigned, and by the 2020 season, all traces of Rainbow Studios properties, save for the Huntic 4D attraction, would be completely removed. Rainbow Magic Land was entering a new era, but Rainbow wouldn't be a part of it. The Pop Pixie subland was the first to disappear, with almost every attraction in El Reino de Piccolo being either removed or stripped of its theming by April of 2019. The land would later reopen for the season as Tonga, a much smaller jungle-themed area with an additional large log flume. A few months later, Althea Castle was surrounded by construction fencing and fabric privacy screens, with only a narrow pathway left open to allow guests access to the planetarium. The once open courtyard where Winx shows and meet and greets had taken place for years was sealed off entirely, and by the start of the 2020 season, the transformation was complete. The Winx Club theme park was officially no more. Althea Castle had become Cosmo Academy, and Pianeta Winx was rethemed into Gadabaleno Time Machine, an entire themed land, once the heart of Rainbow Magic Land, reduced to a memory. Or so it seemed.
Winx, we're back again.
On the 3rd of January 2025, Magic Land posted to their Instagram announcing the launch of ticket sales for the then upcoming season. The caption read, "Get ready for an unforgettable 2025, packed with new features at Magic Splash and a long-awaited return to Magic Land." And then a fairy emoji. Under regular circumstances, the post likely would have come and gone without much thought. But the fairy emoji, paired with the phrasing long-awaited return, immediately gained the attention of Winx fans. Because with the context that Winx was being rebooted in 2025, there was really only one conclusion to draw. The Winx were returning to Magic Land. And thankfully, the very next day, that conclusion was confirmed to be correct, with a second follow-up post by Magic Land reading, "A whole season of fun awaits you at Magic Land, and a long-awaited return, the new Winx-themed attraction." Over the following weeks, Magic Land continued to vaguely tease Winx's return, before finally, in a February press release, they announced that the new Winx attraction would actually be the return of Pianeta Winx, slightly updated and with the new name Magic Winx. And so, on the 12th of April 2025, on a dedicated Winx-themed day, Winx Club officially returned to Magic Land, with the opening of the Magic Winx ride, which was almost identical to its 2011 counterpart. There were some minor changes to the attraction sets and lighting, as well as a newly added scene featuring Daphne from the 2025 reboot, but otherwise the ride was Pianeta Winx as fans remembered it. The flower-themed ride vehicles and the ride's layout remained unchanged, as did the story, audio, and iconic statues of the Winx, with the exception of Flora missing her wings. However, there were some more noticeable changes to the ride's queue. During the attraction's 2020 rebrand, the cage structure had already been replaced with a lush forest setting, but now there was also updated signage, televisions playing episodes of Winx Club, and most notably, brand new statues of the Winx redesigned to match their appearances in the 2025 reboot. For many fans, the attraction was of course exciting and nostalgic, yet at the same time, it was kind of bittersweet. Because yes, the Winx had returned, but fans couldn't help but miss what hadn't. The Winx walk-around characters, the live shows, the Pop Pixie rides, and above all else, Althea, which is where the story of the Winx theme park takes a bit of a turn. On the 26th of May 2025, content creator
Man, bro has some crazy collection there. I love how like fucking like those fucking like the scalpers show off their sealed Pokemon card collection on the background, or like sneakers that they've collected, or their car or something. This dude has his Winx Club collection on the background. Crazy respectable, very good. And he's doing the magic sign. He's doing the magic. He is really into this shit. God damn.
Belgian Winx Club visited Magicland to experience the newly reopened Winx attraction, but while exploring the park, he noticed something unexpected. Cosmo Academy, the building that had replaced Althea Castle years earlier, didn't quite hold up to scrutiny. He found that much of Cosmo Academy was still the original Althea Castle, simply repainted grey. And what's more, from certain angles, traces of the original colour scheme was still visible behind trees and fences. This could have easily been brushed off as Magicland cutting corners when it came to transforming Althea into Cosmo Academy. After all, they had been in financial strain. But the more Jamie looked, the clearer it became that this went far beyond just a rushed retheme, because most of Althea Castle was still there. As it turned out, the entry to Cosmo Academy was nothing more than a false wall, and behind it sat the original Althea structure almost entirely intact. In fact, as guests walked through the narrow passageway leading to the planetarium, those who stopped and looked closely could still see Althea through the makeshift tunnel walls. Furthermore, Jamie was actually able to go behind Cosmo's fake wall and explore the now deserted Althea, where he found that Believix era signage and the shop's interior, including original shelves and props, were all still present. Covered in weeds, dust, and dirt, but still
It has
there.
become
The
a
Winx
liminal
theme park
space.
hadn't been demolished. It had simply been abandoned. So in a way, the Winx theme park still exists. And maybe, like Pianetta Winx, it's just waiting for the chance to return.
No. You cannot go there. If you go there, there's gonna be some kind of like spatial anomaly and you're gonna get fucked. Don't go there. That's a bad place.
Winx Club is often remembered as just another silly Y2K cartoon that came and quickly went. But the existence of this theme park tells a very different story. Not many
I don't know.
get their own amusement park ride, let alone a whole dedicated land. And yet, Winx Club...
Just because it has a theme park doesn't really mean anything. Just because someone wanted to spend a shitload of money on this basically pointless attraction is not like some particular achievement on Winx Club's part. It just means that there was some crazy guy who really wanted a theme park. It's like there's a lot of people who are like, oh, like in the, especially in the, like the Pokemon card or collecting space, is that, oh, some idiot bought a random Pikachu for $700. That must mean that it's worth $700 now. No, that doesn't mean that it's worth $700. It just means that some stupid guy has too much money in his hands. And this is kind of the similar thing. It's not that Winx Club was that special. It's just that somebody had a dream of a theme park because they were jealous of Walt Disney. So...
Even now in its abandoned state, the Winx Club theme park stands as proof of just how significant the Winx franchise was.
No, it doesn't.
Arguably still is.
No, I'm not gonna listen to this fucking glazing session. That's not true. Just because, like if, let's say, if I won the lottery, like a super trillion billion mega lottery, and I had the money to make a Mae-mae theme park, that wouldn't make my works more culturally significant in any sense. It just means that I have a lot of money. There's a difference. Let's see. Scariest place in the universe. So this is the place that you will end up in if you go into the Winx Club theme park at night. So don't go there.
majority of the cosmos is voids. Gigantic, unfathomably large spaces of empty nothingness. Bubbles of eternal night stretching hundreds of millions of light years, almost entirely
This is where your soul goes when you die.
devoid of galaxies, stars, or light. The loneliest places in existence. Voids are not just the absence of stuff, but weird worlds of darkness that are growing, drifting, colliding, and merging with each other. Inside them, space itself is stretched violently, and it's almost impossible to enter them. Simply put, voids are weird and scary, but they sculpt the entire universe and may ultimately decide its fate. Today, we know of over 8,000 voids and supervoids, and we keep discovering more. No matter how large a cluster or supercluster of galaxies gets, there always seems to be an even larger void nearby. Let's jump off the cosmic cliff and drop into the heart of cosmic nothingness. The loneliest place in the universe. You're zooming away from Earth at thousands of times the speed of light, leaving our solar system and our solar neighborhood behind. Now we see the entire Milky Way with its 200 billion stars and dozens of dwarf galaxies zipping around it. 2.5 million light-years away on a collision course is giant Andromeda and its own swarm of satellite galaxies. We're now moving 1 million times faster than the speed of light, seeing the local group of over 50 galaxies woven together by gravity, rivers of gas, and invisible scaffolds of dark matter. This is our pocket of the universe, 10 million light-years across. No human will ever leave it, except for you, apparently. As we zoom away even faster, we see the Virgo supercluster, a colossal wall of more than 2,000 galaxies spread over roughly 100.
It looks like a bird. This is the head of the bird. That one over there is one of the wings. It's like behind it, and this is the other wing, and this one underneath my hand is its like tail feathers. It's like a bird doing like a swoop. Like, wah! Like this. Can you guys see it? Wah! Like that. And this is its wing. That is its wing. This is its head. It's like an X-ray of a bird, and you can see its skeleton right here. Very cool.
Million light years. Careful now. You're right on the edge of the cosmic cliff where the true deep darkness begins. The local void, a gigantic empty bubble 200 million light-years across. If it was a bright thing and not absolute darkness, it would fill 40% of the night sky we see from Earth. All around us are dozens of such superclusters and gigantic voids filled with suffocating emptiness. You're now traveling towards the greatest and emptiest nothing in existence, right into the center of the Boötes supervoid, a cosmic desert around 300 million light-years wide. So gigantic it should contain thousands of galaxies, but instead, what do you see? You're surrounded by perfect darkness, the most absolute blackness the human mind can conceive. There is no up or down, no motion, nothing to orient yourself. There's not a single sign that the outside universe even exists. It's an inescapable prison, and this isn't some exotic corner of the cosmos. This is how the vast majority of the universe feels to human eyes. Just silent blackness without any movement, everywhere, forever. Although there is something mysterious hiding in the dark, faint tendrils of dark matter, penetrating into the void like cosmic lichen. A miniature echo of the much larger forest of dark matter filaments that forms the scaffold of galaxies and galaxy clusters outside the void. And at their tips, we find faint bluish specks in the ocean of darkness. Void galaxies, lonely fireflies, unable to light up the night. The rarest galaxies we know, very isolated, very lonely. A universe of bubbles. Before we could look deep into space, astronomers thought we lived in a uniform cosmos with galaxies spread out evenly. But instead, we found that galaxies, cosmic gas, and dark matter were arranged into a vast cosmic web. a recurring pattern of sheets and filaments organized around enormous empty gaps, meeting at dense knots with galaxy clusters and superclusters. But this structure is not static. It just seems to be because the distances between galaxies are so incredibly vast. In reality, galaxies shoot through space at speeds of millions of kilometers per hour. They're on collision courses, orbiting each other, moving towards the center of larger galaxy clusters millions of light years away. But they always seem to stick to the rims of voids like reflections of light on soap bubbles, which is kind of weird. If they're this dynamic, shouldn't a galaxy shoot into a void occasionally? Well, voids are actually extremely hard to enter for galaxies from the outside, at least naturally, because gravity becomes weird at their edges and even weirder deeper inside them. If you didn't know better, you might think voids spit out anything trying to get inside, pushing galaxies to the edge. The way gravity works is that everything with mass in the universe attracts every other thing with mass. And since there's almost no mass inside, the cosmic web of galaxy superclusters on their edges are pulling things out of voids. The emptier a void is, the harder gravity is pulling on what remains. It's really like a tug of war where one side isn't even trying. Over time, voids are really only getting even emptier and the walls and knots around them denser and brighter. Would it be hard to fly into a cosmic void with a spaceship? Well, not technically. The hardest part is escaping the gravity of your home galaxy. It also doesn't make much sense because what exactly do you want to visit inside a void? It makes sense to fly into a void if you want to hide, like really, really hide. But what cosmic horror would be scary enough for a civilization to try to escape into a cosmic void? Galaxies in the crowded cluster regions like our Milky Way are very active. Since its neighbor's gravity tugs and pulls at it, they collide and merge. Void galaxies are so isolated that they're aging in slow motion. They tend to be smaller, bluer, and full of gas, birthing new stars slower and calmer. So void galaxies could be the last places that will stay habitable in our dying universe. The last star in the universe will likely be born here. So maybe in 100 trillion years or so, a desperate alien race will embark on an impossible journey to stretch their existence just a bit longer inside a void galaxy. There's one more thing that makes voids unique places: dark energy, the mysterious force that most scientists think is accelerating the expansion of the universe and will ultimately cause its demise. We can't see dark energy do anything inside our galaxy or inside clusters because there's too much stuff putting things together via gravity, but we can see its effects inside voids. Here, dark energy blows up the bubbles of nothing. This is where the acceleration of cosmic expansion becomes visible. As voids are getting larger and larger, they're breaking the structure of the universe. The beautiful galaxy filaments are slowly being ripped apart. As the emptiness encroaches, walls of thousands of galaxies are thinned out and pulled towards the edges, attracted by much denser regions at the margins, giving space to the emptiness of two void bubbles becoming one. In the far, far future, supervoids will take over the observable universe, crushing clusters and expanding further and further until the entire observable universe is nothing more than a gigantic void of nothingness, the loneliest place in existence. Let's head back to Earth. When we land, please exit through the gift shop and pick up a few souvenirs.
Okay, that was very positive. Honestly, very interesting. Very interesting. I love shit like this. It is so mysterious and sinister, and it feels like there's not a lot that you actually understand about it. It's very, very interesting, and I would bet that we don't actually have the technology to necessarily know what's inside of them, but this is just math, like math that is done to assume what could be inside of them, not necessarily that we know exactly what is inside of them, because we don't even know how to measure dark matter and dark energy in the first place, if I'm not totally wrong. They're just a mathematical assumption that is required to explain how the universe works. Is that for the universe to work this particular way that it is observably working, there must be some kind of matter that we cannot detect as our technology is right now, which is why it's called dark matter. It's because we don't know what it is really. But right now, like, conceptually, we all obviously assume that because it is called dark matter, it has to be some kind of substance. But that's just a placeholder title for it until we gain better understanding of what it actually is. That it is. So these kinds of like conceptual nightmares, like super voids and stuff like that, very interesting, very interesting. These are exactly the kind of stuff that feeds my inspiration for like my own, like, especially the novels, like the more sinister things. And I am writing a sci-fi novel after the witch books are done. Well, there's going to be one like nonsense funny novel in between, and then I'm going to go into like a very dark sci-fi novel as well that goes beyond universes into the super cosmos and whatever. So so yeah, interesting stuff. Really great video. I like videos a lot. I don't really follow them on whatchamacallit, YouTube. I think I'm subscribed on one of my channels, but every now and then there's like a really good video. Some of them kind of induce like an existential dread because of like this kind of insane mega project you have never heard of, terra nuking. Like some things like that are sometimes weird. And I think I watched a video explaining the great divide theory, or whatever it is called. Like, there's this concept that because we haven't been able to observe any life on any planet outside of the Earth in any way, no matter how far we've tried to see. Obviously, we haven't seen a whole lot, but one theory to explain this is that there is some kind of like point in which once a civilization reaches that point, it is like wiped from existence. Or alternatively, so the theory is that the reason to why there's no other life in the observable universe right now is because either humanity hasn't come across that divide, that little gap yet, and hasn't like imploded upon itself, or we have gone past that already. So we are like, something has happened, some kind of extremely unlikely event has happened successfully for us specifically, that makes it so that we can exist and think and waste our time looking at anime girls' assholes. But the much more likely thing is that we just haven't been there yet. At least from the way humanity is kind of evolving, it's most likely that we're just gonna fucking implode at some point, because people are fucking stupid as shit. Like, they are like immensely stupid. And as long as immensely stupid people exist on this earth, we're gonna fucking die. We're all gonna fucking die at some point. Someone's gonna press like the let's explode all the nukes at the same time switch because someone hurt their feelings. So yeah. I don't really have a high hope for humanity, to be completely honest. I've never been on the side of humanity. But yeah. Anyway, very cool video. I enjoyed that a lot. We have some fucking crazy videos incoming. I guess we can check this one out. If this is any good. It's 26 minutes. So we'll see. Before we get to it though, let me go get some water. I don't want my voice to be fucking shot when I go to sell my things tomorrow. I'll be right back. Earned. Hello. But yeah, space is fucking cool. I think exploring the unknown and the concept of understanding it is just awesome. Mae-mae dabbing. Oh, I'm doing it the wrong way. There you go. Read Color Out of Space the other day, and goddamn the meteorite of unknown matter. Maybe the people on some other planet became so advanced they just came up with immortality and then got bored and decided to all die. Maybe. But like, immortality, like biological immortality, doesn't sound like something insane. I mean, it already exists. There's already species on Earth that have biological immortality. Fucking, if I'm not totally wrong, like lobsters are biologically immortal. Let me find this. Are lobsters immortal? Yeah, they have biological immortality. So they can't age, essentially. They can never die from old age, but they can die from disease or exhaustion or predation or stuff like that. They have some particular gene in their genetic code that repairs DNA, which is something that we don't have yet, but I'm sure it's gonna be implemented at some point. That's not really anything out of the realm of possibility, but like this like super crazy stuff, like super deep space weirdness, and the like how like gravity interacts with things in a weird ass way and stuff like that. That's cool. The mysteries of this kind of subspaces and whatever is very, very awesome. And the mysteries of unknown things awaiting in the darkness. It's very cool. Anyway, let's check out some shit Kickstarter products, I guess.
The Papa Meat channel. How you doing? How you doing? Keeping it settled down because today we're going to be talking about Kickstarter. Crowdfunding websites have been prevalent for years now. Many nonprofits, startups, and even lone individuals have turned to them for help making their creative dreams a reality. Hell, I know I did. 6 years ago now, I did a Kickstarter, made a show. Not sure if anyone remembers it, but
some jellyfish are immortal, yes. Also in the biological sense, where they don't die from aging, but instead once they reach the end of their lifespan, they turn back into their like infant stage, and then they grow up from that again. But they can still be like eaten and whatever.
but it was a show nonetheless, and we did it, and we hit the goals, and I found out that that was not that's not a normal thing. A lot of Kickstarters don't usually go that way, which luckily I didn't ask for, I feel like a whole
40% don't deliver any of the promised rewards. That's fucking crazy.
Hindsight, making an animated show is way more expensive than what I asked for. I digress. Now, just about anyone can have an idea and see it realized without having to have an abundance of capital or influence. So as long as you fit your campaign into Kickstarter's guidelines, you're good to go. There was a period of time too, back in like the early 2010s maybe, there was like an overabundance of people doing it as like a get-rich-quick scheme. I feel like now it's become a legitimate way of, I see, God, dude, self-published books? Unbelievable. Board games, holy hell. Comics and books and that kind of stuff, oh my God. Kickstarter is like the best. Whether it's a piece of luggage, a new piece of technology, or a video game, many people have built entire franchises that have started out on a Kickstarter page. Indie games like Shovel Knight raised over $300,000 in 2019, creating a hit game that has now evolved into an entire series. Which if you think about it, $300,000, you know, I think for a lot of people, I mean, it is a lot of money, but goddamn, I mean, so many games, it's like 20 million, you know? I mean, I got 300K and be able to make that is pretty impressive. Even just this year, games like Gundos are soaring over their Kickstarter goals, showing just how much people are willing to open their wallets to a project that they believe in. Not all projects go smoothly, however. You may have heard of infamous campaigns like the Coolest Cooler, which raised a staggering $13 million, only to fully shut down years later after a litany of poor management decisions, and that's kind of what you get into. Also, too, that's
how can you fuck up a fucking cooler? You're giving 13 million bucks and you fuck up a cooler. You have to fuck it up on purpose at that point.
Sometimes you reach a goal, and if it goes way over, you're like, I have no idea how to scale this, and then you become an entrepreneur versus a guy who's like, it was a pretty cool cooler. Put a speaker in the cooler, it's pretty sweet. With people's generosity being the focal point, you probably aren't surprised that there are all sorts of stories in which people take advantage of it. So today we're going to look at the wild world of Kickstarter, from product failures to full-on scams, and even we have to throw in a couple of mental breakdowns. For the very few Kickstarters that are actually practical, there are thousands of ridiculous projects that either fix a niche problem or do like nothing. They don't do a single thing. The Licky Brush, for example, is a piece of rubber shaped like a tongue that you put in your mouth so you can lick your own cat.
Why?
I don't know, like, why would you want to do that?
Product.
Yeah, but what's the novelty? Like, the issue is not grooming your cat, but it's the idea of, like, even if it's protected my mouth, do I want to lick my cat? It's for people that are, like, is it role play stuff?
No.
It's like, I want to show my cat how it feels when he licks me. So you put the thing in
yeah,
your
but
mouth
you have to,
and
like,
pretend to lick him.
you got the fucking cat by the throat. You, like, on that video, he was holding the cat by the throat. It's like, you're gonna fucking get licked, or it's not up to, like, your opinion anymore. You're gonna get licked, and there's nothing you can do about it. God fucking damn it.
Like that, Samuel. The project received over 2,000 backers and raised $52,000, and it even appeared on Shark Tank.
Fucking perverts. Stop
What
it.
did Mark Cuban say about that? If that motherfucker not get out of that deal, I want to know what happened.
But 300K, that's too much, and for those reasons, I'm out.
There's also Jellowware, which are disposable cups you are supposed to eat instead of throwing away, and the creators came up with this idea after entering a Jello mold competition. In total, Jellowware had 229 backers and raised over $10,000. I feel like Jellowware
Who
like
needs
mac and
this?
cheese doesn't make sense.
No one.
You know, if it's supposed to be like
Why
a
do-
bowl, I mean, I guess with a drink, but even then, it's like,
Why do people give money to this stupid crap, but they don't give that much money to me? Where's my 200K? What the fuck? Should I put it on, like, Kickstarter is like a project just to give me money? I like money. Would people give me money? What the fuck? Should I start a Kickstarter? Is that how you make money? The Kickstarter goals reach like 250,000. Kickstarter rewards, Mae-mae gets money. If you reach the next tier, Mae-mae gets more money. If you get the next tier, Mae-mae gets even more money. That's crazy. I could actually fulfill those tiers, I think, if I got all that money.
Delaware? Yeah, it would get sticky. How would it not? You're holding it, you know? This message is sponsored by Raycon. Spring is here, which means it's time to refresh your routine and spend more time outside. Whether you're on your daily walk, running errands, or just soaking in the sun, baby. These are open earbuds that let you stay connected to your surroundings while enjoying your favorite music or podcast. Raycon's essential.
That's a very nice way of saying they don't block any noise. So while you're listening to your fucking Kirby music, you're gonna hear all the cars honking and whatever around you. Some people like that, some people don't.
Open earbuds keep your ears open while still delivering crystal clear sound. Whoa! Regular earbuds block out everything, but with Raycon, you can stay aware of traffic and your surroundings without sacrificing sound quality. And with the open ear functionality, their earbuds are designed to be taken outside. They're perfect for work.
Do you really need fucking background music like everywhere you go? Can't you just enjoy the sweet noises of the local drunkards killing each other in like an alley or something? Like, what's wrong with just enjoying the sounds of nature? Can't you just enjoy life as it is? Do you need to really have that fucking epic battle theme going while you're jerking off? No, you don't. Stop it. Go away. There we go.
Or just for a run. And their super lightweight design means that they won't slip out when you're moving fast or breaking a sweat. Raycon also has multi-point connection, allowing you to switch from your phone to a tablet or PC with ease once it's time to work again. But the best part is that Raycon delivers premium audio quality at half the price. Plus, the open earbuds case has a 36-hour battery life, giving you non-stop listening throughout your day. I love using Raycons when I'm at work listening to my favorite smut podcast. No one in the office can hear what I'm listening to. It's awesome. Join over 3 million customers that love Raycon and try them for yourself. The essential open earbuds are perfect for refreshing your routine this spring. Go to buyraycon.com/PapaMeatOpen to get 20% off. Thank you so much to Raycon for sponsoring this video, and hey, let's get back to the video. Then there's also Fish on Wheels, and it's a fish tank on a low-powered RC car controlled by the fish inside, because you know they have sentience to do that. The fish tank had a
That's
camera
not a
that looked
fish
down
tank.
inside the tank, so to pinpoint the fish's position and control the vehicle. The developers initially wanted $70,000 and only raised about $6,000 before the project ultimately failed. This was probably because the tank couldn't be filled too high, otherwise the frequent jerky movements caused by the fish panicking inside would spill water all over your floor. I like how it's like
Yeah, they haven't invented a lid yet.
That's the biggest.
You need another $6,000 to invent a lid on the fish tank. We don't have that power yet. We haven't reached that level just yet. Sounds like something Michael Reeves would try to build, and he does it for free. Being able to tune out, yeah, but the whole point of the whatever Raycon earbuds was that they let all the noise to come in. So you're not actually tuning out the noise. You're just adding more noise on top of it.
It isn't that the fish inside's being jerked around and probably gonna fucking die as well.
I saw a video, something similar, but they put a snake and gave it legs. It's like in a tube and it can walk around.
Yeah, I've seen this one.
That goes against everything that it knows, right? Why would you need that? Another failed project is Paul, the sexiest smartphone charger on the planet.
I've actually heard about this. I've heard about
a
this.
foam bust of a man's body with the phone charger at his penis and a wall charger coming out of his asshole. The creator was seeking $8,000 in funding, but received only a little over $2,000 with a total of.
Why can't I receive $2,000 for just saying stupid shit? Fuck. Like, god damn, 2K is still crazy.
A lot. I like how it's just like, we're gonna give you half.
Mae-mae, can you get a sponsorship for bone conducting headphones, but from a brand like Sony or something, so I can get it for cheaper? Oh. Someone sent Sony a message and asked them, hey, do you want Mae-mae could, like, you could sponsor Mae-mae. You could give Mae-mae some money and do, like, headphone things so that Yerso can buy cheaper headphones.
Half a mannequin, and you can, like, I guess you could fuck this if you want, or you can, like, finger his asshole. And some people are like, all right, fine, dude. I mean, $2,000 isn't nothing to sneeze at, right? I don't know.
Yeah, right?
Thinking Egg, which had 4 versions, each raising well over $200,000. So we could say
What do you
about
mean?
$1 million in total. It's literally just a wooden or like metal egg that you're meant to fidget with while you're working at home. It's literally just like a stress. It's not even a stress ball. It's just you're supposed to just like.
Oh, it's like those orbs.
Yeah, but they don't look as cool. Those orbs where you're like. Functionally, there is no.
So if I go smooth out a piece of wood, are people gonna give me 200K? What? Like, sometimes thinking, like, there's so much of this, like, worthless money in this world that is just thrown into, like, nothing. Why can't I have it? Why can't I have it? If you don't need any of this money, give it to me. I'll do something with it. I'll buy more table space at a convention. I the tables at Comic-Con are fucking garbage.
Difference between the versions except the material they're made of. And on their official website, they charge $17 per egg. You can just go to the store. You can go to the store, play around with a regular egg, and then you get to eat it. That's like, just to be honest. I mean, like,
why?
We're talking practicality.
Why is
stuff.
it's like 2 centimeters tall. It's a 2 centimeters tall, smoothed out little egg. Why is it $17? What? That's almost like as expensive as one of my books. And it takes me like 9 months to give birth to one of those. I would say that these probably take like 20 minutes to give birth to these things. It's fucking crazy.
Well, I mean, the convenience of it, I'm like, you can just get a carton of eggs. How often would you play with the egg? And at that point, too, you know, dude, I'd get like, you can get anything. You can get an orange, peel it, and eat it. Like, oh, my fat ass is just like, can you even eat the egg? You can't eat the egg. Get a chocolate egg. Eat the chocolate egg. Yeah, a little Kinder egg with the cream in it. I never liked that Kinder eggs, I'm being honest. Yeah, the cream is not, like, burns my mouth. Well, it doesn't burn my mouth, but it, like, I don't know. It's like, so, it makes me so thirsty. You know what else the ones I didn't like was the chocolate oranges. You like the peels? I never tasted that good, did it? Was this just, are we just talking? Creators can get inspiration from literally anywhere, like the creators of the Grilled Cheeses Grilled Cheese Press, who came up with their idea after watching an episode of their favorite show, Glee, titled Grilled Cheeses, which clearly many thought the concept was amazing because the Kickstarter was able to reach its $25,000 funding goal.
Why?
This is something my grandma would like, I feel like.
Yeah, eat your grilled cheese.
Well, now you can trick old people. Mom, look.
I think that, yeah, it's
Oh, Bob,
as a practical joke. Trick their grandmother and be like, huh, I love it. They probably wouldn't even eat it. There have been thousands of ridiculous products on Kickstarter, but many don't compare to the No Phone. Nearly 1,000 people paid a total of $18,000 for a 3D printed rectangle to combat cell phone addiction. They created a pretend phone to act as a surrogate to any smart mobile device. You can clutch your comfort without having to actually use it, which just sounds so pathetic, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It does sound immensely pathetic. Just let go of your fucking phone, you freak. Just let go of it. God, fuck, shit. No. Like, if I let my phone go for like a week and didn't touch it at all, I don't think I'd like miss anything. Except for my dailies in Trick Cal. Which are very important. I need those crystal leaves. But, like, you know, it's not actually that important. It's just... This is like a product that is obviously created to exploit people, which is why it's so frustrating to look at. Is that, oh, people, like, oh, I can just see, like, some mother who is like, oh, my son has a severe phone addiction because my son has, oh, head pats. Yes, let me find some. Wait, how the fuck did I do this again? Did I have, oh yeah, this one. There we go. Put it on my head. Cool. It's like, this is targeted to those adults who don't understand how addiction functions, and they think that if by giving this piece of shit trash that probably costs like 50 cents to make to my child who is quote unquote phone addicted, in my opinion, it's gonna cure that. It's not. It's gonna make no difference whatsoever. It's not gonna make any kind of difference whatsoever. So yeah. Also, hello. Yeah, didn't you already catch me over on YouTube? I see your YouTube comments too, I think. Or are these different orchids? Or are you doing like a Kagebunshi no Jutsu? Are there two of you? I don't really, you know, this is like some kind of spider magic. I don't deal with that shit.
Apparently there's a study that shows that 3 days without your cell phone is similar.
Yeah, exactly. It's like my son has a severe phone addiction because I have failed as a parent, so now I'll fix it by buying a piece of plastic.
Pain withdrawal.
I believe it too. You know what? Maybe I'm knocking the rectangle too quick. I mean, like it's like a thing of.
Yeah, I mean, you can.
Beer,
I'm
still
not against
have
it.
The
Go for it.
simulation or like the I don't know the.
I'm actually having some issues with my multi-stream setup right now because I can only see Twitch comments over on the other chat. So I have another chat widget open here so that I can see what's going on over on YouTube.
When you're trying to get sober. One upgrade consists of a stick-on mirror so you can take selfies. Though it was fully supported, many of the comments were disappointed, saying they either never received
That's so
the product
pathetic.
or
No.
the mirror came scratched. Oh, come on. Are you fucking kidding me? My mirror. In 2014, the Air umbrella was advertised.
Oh, I remember this. I remember hearing about this, and I remember thinking that people are fucking idiots.
To protect you from the rain, it would instead blast a circular stream of air that would keep you dry without taking as much space. Does it mean it's just like above you?
Yeah, so like the rain comes like.
At that point, too, I mean, like, is an umbrella that invasive?
Also, how loud is that?
Umbrellas are great. Umbrellas are fantastic. I recently, when we were in Japan, I recently discovered that they have such a genius invention for umbrellas. It's like black all around, except that one of those like little segments that the umbrella is made out of is transparent, so you can pull the umbrella sort of down and protect yourself from all the social interactions around you, and you have this nice little window that keeps you sort of looking straight ahead, so you can be safe from interacting with anyone around you, in addition to being safe from the rain. It was a genius invention. Umbrellas are fantastic.
To make it an actual dome, it would have to be insane. It would be insanely
Yeah,
loud.
yeah, it would have to be insanely strong, and it would. If it's insanely strong, it means that it's insanely loud, which means that it's completely defeating the purpose of it not being intrusive.
Laws, however, no. Not only would the battery life only be between 15 to 30 minutes, but one could assume that
Umbrella is a
water being
mandatory
pushed away
accessory
from
for
you would just be
disappointments.
fired
Yes,
onto
yes,
everything
yes. I mean,
in the
yeah, it's
person's
always
vicinity.
raining.
AKA the people all around you, or I mean, everything's getting wet beside you. And as it turns out, these initial problems were far too difficult to rectify. Fears of it doing harm to customers rather than being unable to release the product. They would issue an apology and attempt to refund their supporters, but delays in doing so would cause a tidal wave of furious backers, labeling them as scammers. I mean, we'll try to get there. I'm not doing it.
They are assuming people will just forget. It's been 10 years.
I mean, come on, yeah, 100 grand. I mean, there's got to be some crazy backers.
Yeah, over here in Finland, the sun isn't really ever that crazy where you burn in it unless you stay out for a long time. We live so far north that it's generally just not a thing. Or maybe it's just that I never go outside. It might be that too. I'm a pale, pasty motherfucker.
With all of these, there's like, like $10,000 reward tiers.
I have a feeling it was like in a metal tube. Like the thing's gonna lodge into your neck. Some Kickstarters can feel downright pointless. For example, a Kickstarter campaign titled "We Demand Peace in the World Now" details the development of a smartphone app that will bring everyone together. Basically, people would download the free app to show that they demand peace in the world. And according to them, the app would feature their song "We Demand Peace in the World Now" and a video of Peace Flash Mob, which honestly I think could do nothing but spread more hate. More vitriol. If I saw that video, I'd be like, I think the world's in a pretty fucking good place. If this is what peace in the world, I don't want that. If that's what peace in the world
This is like just let's make an app that is going to portray us as the greatest narcissists in the universe. Great idea. Yeah, we're gonna bring world peace through this phone app. How fucking up your ass do you have to be to think that that's a good idea? Fuck. Shit.
No, thank you. Their goal is to have people around the world memorize this dance as well as the lyrics to the song, so they can start organizing their own flash mobs to spread the idea of peace. Their ultimate goal was to convince people to all do this song and dance one Saturday a month for at least a year in cities all across the world. This way, they could tell their government that they will not tolerate any of the wars, and the fighting and killing must stop now! Despite their best efforts, only 18 people backed the project out of the $30,000 they wanted to.
They still got 2.3K. I want 18 people who give me 2.3K for stupid ideas too. Shit, I'm jealous.
was raised.
These
Which also
Kickstarters
raises the
just
question
keep
as well
making
that
me more and
certainly
more jealous.
Couldn't this just be a YouTube video that you hope goes viral? You can't make money on it that way.
Exactly. How am I going to make the ad money from the app?
Make the ad money on the app, and then also, yeah, is it really a movement?
Yeah,
that you
imagine
download on the
imagine
phone?
while you're fucking preaching for world peace, it just suddenly goes into an ad for Bad Dragon, and it's like 20 seconds until the ad is over, unless you pay premium for world peace. Fuck.
That kind of stuff. I mean, think about how bad flash mobs already were. I mean, who wanted that? Whoever saw a video and they're like, okay. People don't realize this, but we're about ready to transform this busy square into a dance party.
Well, it's because of High School Musical, I bet. They're like,
what?
They saw High School Musical was so popular, so it's just like, let's just bust out in song and dance. And it'll. When you're in high school, did you guys film a flash mob for your senior?
We didn't do a flash mob, but it was one of those fucking videos that was like, it's like a person starting in a room and it's like a camera following them and they're like, you're singing a song to it. And they go to every room and people are like singing the song and like dancing and stuff. It's so fucking cringe. But everyone did it. I don't know what the fuck was. I guess that's kind of a flash mob.
Oh yeah, I thought that's what
You can just tell from those people running around and like singing and dancing that they're like theater kids. And once they're gonna be out of whatever school they're currently in, and they're going into the real world, and they realize that none of their theater dreams are going to be fulfilled, and maybe like one person out of the entire fucking university ever gets any kind of success in the line that they're doing, and then they go work in some shit job that they don't enjoy, and then they just talk about their theater memories or do it as a hobby for the rest of their life. Life is fucking miserable. It's darkness. Kingdom Hearts is not light. Kingdom Hearts is 100% darkness. But you know, it's in the darkness where the perverts all dwell, which is why I sell pictures of ass. It's like thinking with brains, you know? Thinking with brains.
But
flash mob is like you're having a cup of coffee in like at a town square, and all of a sudden all the business people walk around, stop, and they just start dancing. Like, that's a flash mob. It's a mob of people doing that. To me, a flash mob is like, you kind of spring it on random people that don't
Imagine,
know
like,
what's going on.
You've been working at some dead-end job that you absolutely hate for, like, the entirety of your life just to make ends meet. Everything is going to shit. Your wife has divorced you. Your child wants to, I don't fucking know, do a somersault, and you're against that because it's against your religion or something. And while you're walking home from work where you just got fired from, these fucking idiots come like thrusting their chests at you and beat like music going all over them. No, this is not how you spread positivity. Just fucking annoying.
All I know is in my school they did that Bon Jovi song that.
I think we did Dog Days Are Over.
Wait, why was that censored?
Florence and the Machine.
How's that one go?
The dog days are
Oh, what was it? Some song that he sung that was copyright struck? God, it's crazy.
In 2013, Doug Evans created an exciting product.
I liked
called
The Rain
Juicero
as well.
That drew in a total of $120 million investments for Juicero. All right, their main product, the Juicero Press, was essentially a fancy juicing machine.
I
The
remember
catch is that
this.
The machine was only designed to work with Juicero's own brand.
They also, I think they made this, if I'm not totally wrong. They actually made this. And it was insanely expensive and everyone hated it.
Branded product packs, which were fairly expensive for what they contained. Customers would pay for a subscription fee of $35 a week to regularly obtain these produce packs. $35 a week?
Fuck, that's so much money. You guys shouldn't buy Juicero. Don't buy Juicero. Subscribe to Mae-mae Patreon instead. It's less than that. It's less than this, unless you're in the highest tier. It's less than this. And you get pictures of ass. It's just objectively better.
The machine itself was overly complicated, requiring a Wi-Fi connection at all times to operate it, and each packet contained a QR code, which needed to be scanned by the machine and confirm that it was both an official Juicero brand packet that wasn't expired. Which also, what kind of fucking
insane.
Apple bullshit is that? You have to have Juicero packs. You can't throw a goddamn
It's
orange
like
in the thing.
when the
and
printer
also
starts
like
whining when
juicer
it's not the
for
correct
space,
kind of
right?
print.
A pack of goods?
Their whole thing was like, it's freshly squeezed.
Or
but it's in
I
a
guess
bag.
ink.
And all the machine does is just squeeze the bag.
So it's already a bag of juice.
So you can
Yes, it's a bag of
Can you
juice
just
that the
kick- yeah, I
machine
was like,
just
can you just-
squeezes. You are paying 35
Go,
bucks
Cicero, go!
a month on a subscription so that the machine squeezes the juice out of the bag for you. If you just put a knife to the bag and squeeze it out yourself, you don't have to pay the 35 bucks subscription.
Just good shit. My orange juice! At launch, the product cost a whopping $700. While the product was doing all right during its initial launch, they were still losing money due to the high cost of producing it. What is this machine made out of, dude? It's made of gold.
I
All
bet
the
it like
wiring
mines
is
crypto
gold.
or
Things
something
took a
while
turn
it
for
does
the
this
worse,
shit.
However, no. When Bloomberg exposed them by revealing that the juicer itself was not necessary to consume the drink. Who thought that you needed the... I mean, it's a bag of juice.
Yes.
Cut a hole in it and put a straw in the bag.
It is
You're gonna
literally
have
just a
juice on
bag.
the go. The company shut down entirely by September of 2017 and was mocked
What
every
company?
step of
Fuck.
the way. That has to be the worst product I've heard so far. There's got to be worse, but I'm just saying. In terms of like non-harmful, stupid waste of technology, that's got to be it. Some Kickstarter creators simply aren't equipped to handle the pushback that a poorly run campaign brings from their backers, like the creator of Pictures for Sad Children. John Campbell produced a webcomic of the same name in 2007, which focused on dark and absurdist humor that people really seem to connect with. The success prompted a Kickstarter campaign in 2012 that would raise money to produce physical copies of the comic. The $8,000 goal was exceeded, hitting over $50,000. Instead of this ending as yet another Kickstarter success story from a young artist, future
50,000 is so much. For the record, let's assume, like, let's be like really generous, right? Let's assume that the paper type is like high, the quality is high, the paper weight is pretty high because it seemed to be in color, right? Well, it's in grayscale, so yeah, it's not even in color, so we don't even need to pay for color printing. Comics like this generally don't have like 700 pages. So I would assume that it probably has maybe like 120 to maybe at most like 180 pages. A comic like that in black and white would probably cost around 2 to 3 euros to produce, which is like 4 to 5 USD. So with 50,000, you can produce so many. You can produce so many copies, and on top of that, if you let's say you sell them for like $10 a pop, you can make easy money. Especially considering you already have your audience set for you. They have literally paid you this much just to produce this thing, which means that you already have a massive fan base of people who want this thing. How can you fuck this shit up? Shit.
Updates to the campaign took a strange turn. John would post a lengthy post about their withering emotional state, treating the update tab on the campaign as more of a venting space. It turns out that the pressure was too much, and John would express their anger by posting a video update titled, "It's Over." In it, the text reads 127 emails about this book. The video then shows 127 books being burned in a bonfire over ominous music. John reveals that the last 25% of the books will not be shipped and refunds will not be processed before threatening to burn one book for every future message received about it. Along with the video came a novel-sized post that went from long personal stories to criticisms of capitalism. One quote reads, "If you would like a refund, please contact a fan of my work directly."
This guy's an idiot. This guy's a narcissistic idiot, and he doesn't like. He was given like a magically amazing opportunity to make his comics into a living, and he fucked it all up because of his fucking ego. If I had the budget to work with like 58,000, the fucking crazy shit I could do with that. I'm like taking money out of my own pocket, and like, let's say on average I would spend probably like 5,000 to 7,000 each year on books that I sell at events with my fucking mom spaghetti hand sweaty or whatever. This guy had like everything that I want. This guy had everything that I want, and he shat all over it because people on social media wanted their books. It's like, yeah, they fucking wanted their books because you sold them a book. Kickstarter's purpose is not, oh, fulfill my dreams and give me money for it. I have this dream, please give me money for it. That's not how it works. It's a transaction. They're purchasing something from you. They're purchasing the books that you are creating. So if you don't like that, and if you don't like capitalism, what the fuck are you asking for money? Why are you asking for money for this shit? If you don't like capitalism, make them yourself. If you don't like capitalism, go to like a smaller print house and print it there. But like, this is just like, you're just shitting in the face of the people who would have been your fans, which is insane.
Directly for your money. This is where the money would come from anyway. I am cutting out the middleman. For the most part, John erased all social media, as well as the original webcomic archives. People still speculate about what had happened in the first place, with many assuming it was related to intense drug use or simply untreated mental health problems. Which, here's the thing. If this was like, which I don't know if this is the case, if this was a Tumblr artist, does it not make sense that your update page would read the same? Granted, I think if you have something where somebody's paid for it, you gotta fulfill the obligation. Even if you are super late, I think that as long as you're like, I'm getting to it, this was way more than I expected, I'm having a hard time with it, I think if you're transparent and honest, people will be mad, but I think it's like,
yes,
I'm trying my best to do it.
Exactly.
With it.
I'm sorry, I'm just one person and I don't actually have a company for this. I didn't expect to get this much stuff, and I'm overwhelmed by the love that you guys are showing for my franchise thing that I have created. Please be patient with me. I will include a funny sticker with a picture of ass as an apology in each book that I will send late. Sorry. That's all you really fucking needed to do. Or like I'll include a cute little signature or something like that in the books that I send out late, because I'm sorry. For anyone else who has already received their books on time, if you see me at an event or anything like that, it's totally free to come to check me out and get your book signed. I love seeing my fans, and I would love to sign your book, even if I didn't sign it on this occasion, because you actually received your book on time. Problem solved. Fuck!
On a hate campaign and burning books because you're like, I don't know, upset with other people, no bueno. There's a lot of times I've seen, like, I have a bunch of comic book buddies, like my buddy Jim Mafood. He just did an amazing, like, Batman parody that was just all like, it's like a savage Batman book. Put it up here. It was really good. He had a successful campaign and stuff. But he asked other Kickstarter people being like, what's the best way to go about this? You know, other comic book people. I mean, like, I would just reach out to other people that have done that campaign. Also, you're human, dude. Mistakes happen. Once again, shout out Jim Mafood and also Jake. Put up both of them. Two awesome comic book artists, and also my buddy Baltimore. I have too many comic book friends. But I've known these people for a while, and I love all of them. Baltimore, there's his art. It's very good. His comics are very good. Jake, he does a lot of my storyboard art, but also he's an amazing comic book artist. And Jim, there you go. Watch out for their Kickstarters. Maybe they have one. I feel like a lot of the Kickstarters, it doesn't matter. Who gives a shit? Outdoors for Everyone project was a failed Kickstarter created by David Mills. His goal was to allow old, disabled, or underprivileged people to enjoy beautiful nature settings they could never visit. Not by taking them there, but by creating gigantic, high-quality prints they could look at, which... sounds pretty silly, but I can see that being like a noble cause.
It's like,
never go there.
Yeah, I imagine what your life could be. I actually go into this fucking topic in the witch books. The main character discusses that at some point, like, they started coloring the walls of the hospitals that she was stuck in, but all it really did was that they're trying to remind you, like, they're trying to distract you from the reality that your life fucking sucks. And it just makes her remember it more. You know, there's no fuck.
I mean, you look at that, it's pretty, right? You'll never be there, but this is kind of like it. These photos, which they refer to as big, awesome photos, would be displayed as an hour-long slideshow presentation. Oh, How insulting is that? When it was made clear that the crew would have to travel to all of these nature spots and national parks themselves to take the photos, people started to claim that this was all an elaborate play for them to fund a nationwide vacation. Which
that's literally what it is.
I will say this. There are things called translights, and there are like backdrops to shows. These, I mean, just to print, I don't know, like a 20-foot wide one, they could cost like 30 grand. So then if you want, and that's a high quality print that's like, you know, I would say it's like, it's not paper, it's actual fabric that's gonna last, you know, it looks good from a distance, all that kind of stuff, right? That you'll see in a show. $185,000 does sound like it's just like, this is for me and my boys to go take the photos for like a year. We can all take off our jobs for a year, we can get paid, we're not losing any revenue, right? Because if you're doing that and you're selling it to a person, what person's gonna want to pay like 30 grand for which is a giant photo? If you're trying to emulate it being like, oh, I'm looking out into a thing, yeah. Not just a frame picture.
That'd be more of
yeah, not to mention the fact that this was supposed to be a slideshow, so I'm guessing it's digital, right? So if this is like a fucking wall-sized picture that we're trying to get like a super high resolution image for this purpose of putting it in a hospital, yeah, that's neat, but what about the screen though? What about the screen though? If it's gonna be like an entire wall of screen, that's gonna be pretty expensive too, on top of the fucking photos themselves.
Yeah.
It's just like, get a VR headset.
Which even then, it's like, yeah, just put on a fucking Apple headset or whatever and just be like, holy shit. The project would only receive $1,453, and Kickstarter soon suspended the project so backers would not be charged. People saw through that so clearly. I do like the angle though of people, you know 100% him and his boys were like, well, people are gonna know that we're just like going around. It's like a vacation. Not if we tell them it's for disabled people. Not if we tell them it's for old and sick people. Among the many project genres Kickstarter offers, games are probably among the most, if not the most popular on the entire platform. In 2017, a new MMO project called Ash of Creation was launched, and over the last decade, it has raised over $3 million while in development. However,
it's
at
fucking
the beginning
insane.
of the year, the creative director and co-founder Stephen Sheriff stepped down from his position due to the ethical conflicts with the board of directors. This led most of the staff to leave, and the entire project was scrapped, including the Steam page, which had already been selling an early access version. Since thousands of people had already purchased early access to the game, Steam had begun issuing refunds to anyone who bought it. And for those who were still in the company, the board laid off the remaining staff and closed the studio. Many former employees later said they never received the final paycheck and sued for unpaid wages.
This was like a big one. Because my buddies actually paid full price for it, and then it was only up for a month.
No shit, Ashes of Creation?
I think they're doing one last like pump and dump. Basically, they're like, let's release this in early access, get as many people to buy,
and then just bail.
And then Steam actually locked their funds, so they could not pull them out.
Yeah, it's bullshit. There's so many different kinds of these games where I feel like it's released for a day. Well, are you talking about the one that was like released for a day and they just shut it down entirely? I forgot what its name is. I'm not good with video game names, but I feel like there's a ton of them that do this kind of shit. Also, I want to say $3 million over the course of 10 years is not a lot. They had to have probably some other kind of backing that they didn't tell people about.
They had private investors come in.
So that's probably why they also dumped it, because those private investors probably came in there like, we're going to fucking kill you unless you give us money. Mythic, the Story of Gods, was announced in early April of 2012 as a mythology-based RPG. The company behind the game boasted that it had ex-Blizzard employees and even Disney and Pixar employees working on animations. It didn't take long for the game to gain traction and raise close to $5,000 toward its $80,000 goal. However, some people felt something was off. Yeah. A video game, first off, $5,000 is, I mean, is that gaining traction? I guess. But then also $80,000 to make an MMORPG?
Definitely scam. That is, or
yeah, no, that's not happening. You're not making an MMORPG with 80,000. Maybe if you're making like a phone game that is just like 2D images doing something. I mean, I guess maybe if it has like insanely predatory financing, where you have to pay a subscription just to play it and see the PNGs moving around a little bit. And on top of that, there's like an infinite pay-to-win system to it. Yeah, maybe. But 3D? Yeah, no, that's not happening.
Or it's like a little kid, like he made the Kickstarter.
After doing a little digging, people found that the entire campaign was a mix of other games, projects, and businesses. For starters, the art of the game was stolen from other games, and the pictures of the company's office were real photos taken from random design companies. Furthermore, all of the reward tiers on the Kickstarter page were just copied from other projects. It didn't take long for news outlets to pick up the story and spread the word about the scam. Not even a month after it was announced, the Kickstarter was canceled, and the scammers disappeared. Thankfully, no backers ever lost any money since the project didn't reach its goal, so that's good. Molly Frederick had begun to create a high sci-fi board game called Catalika. Catalika.
I like that.
Catalika, which focused on, quote, the experience of living as a member of the stellar consciousness of the galaxy. Like some Evangelion.
This sounds like cult shit.
According to her, it's a cross between Risk and Magic the Gathering. Now you're speaking my language. A decent-sized audience of interested people easily hit the goal of $7,500, which allowed Molly to regularly post updates and stay ahead of schedule. When the product was ready to be shipped out, delays started to frustrate people who would go on to critique her in the comments of the campaign. Things all changed one day when Molly started posting weird updates to explain why things were being delayed. Apparently, it no longer had to do with just printing issues, because she was now being harassed by celestial mass claiming... What? She was now being...
Yeah, what a surprise. It was made by a crazy person. It sounded like a cult shit, and it was made by a crazy person. For the record, now that I've been expanding into the universe of all kinds of shit on my, like, little, whatchamacallit, merchandising, making a board game isn't actually super expensive either. If you have the printing know-how and the structuring know-how and some kind of graphic design understanding, making a board game isn't insanely expensive. So this was definitely just a crazy person who wasn't ready to make any kind of project to begin with. Voice says the Sun doesn't want you to publish because it wants to be almost exactly like but keep it all secret. Yeah, that's a sentence that comes out of the mind of a crazy person. This is a crazy person who is trying to export their insanity into a board game, which is don't buy Endless Tower instead. Buy Endless Tower. That Endless Tower is great. Endless Tower is funny. It's totally unbalanced, but it's funny. So invest in Endless Tower instead of this crap.
Harassed by a celestial mask claiming to be the sun. I mean, do you just see that Kickstarter post and you're like, awesome? Like when it comes to this, of like, I'm actually, I mean, it's heartbreaking. I'm paraphrasing this because what I want to say is I would see that and be like, no way, mental breakdown, sick. Even though I know it's wrong.
No, it's not heartbreaking. The only thing that is heartbreaking about this is that people who are in a mental state like this have access to the internet instead of receiving help for their mental issues. This has to be like some USA thing where people don't get fucking healthcare because fuck everyone, I guess. So like people who clearly need help don't get it because fuck them, I suppose. How does Endless Tower tie into the cinematic universe where everything is canon? So, I multiple times during my during the making of Threesome Therapy, I was thinking that if there would be an opportunity for it, I would introduce the fact that Pain collects some kind of collectible trading cards. But now that I have the Endless Tower, it's gonna be canon that she collects Endless Tower cards, okay? Mental health is still viewed as a super taboo in a lot of areas here in the US as well. No, I absolutely know that you guys don't like health in general is reviewed as a taboo in the States because the health industry in the States is a business, and it's a business that can single-handedly destroy your life. Like, let's say you fucking trip on the street and you get fucked. You can be sure that the insurance company will do everything it can to make sure that you get as little compensation for it as possible so that they don't need to pay you jack shit, so that you need to pay for your crazy fucking hospital fees that you go to the hospital for it. So people create this like religion aversion towards anything that is tied to medical science, and they start coming up with these fucking celestial magic bullshit objects that will heal them, like rubbing crystals on their nipples or some stupid shit, just to have an excuse to not go to see the doctor. And it's even worse with mental health because it's probably insanely expensive, and there's all these fucking unlicensed crystal healers who are way cheaper than going to an actual therapist. So when you actually suffer from mental health issues, instead of getting genuine help and potentially some kind of medication that you would need to deal with your insane turbo psychosis or something, you're gonna go rub crystals on your nipples and having someone bling a little fork next to your ear and say that the vibrations will fucking cure your cancer or something. It's a fucking insane place to live. If you have any kind of medical issues, the States, and you're not crazy rich, the States is a fucking nightmare to live in. Pain collects cards. I would have thought that's more about Terra. Terra isn't really the type who collects cards. I would see her more as a collecting of people kind of person. Pain would be more of the card collecting kind. Have you heard the tale of the Dragon Lord? No, I don't think I have.
I'm just saying, if you saw the update, you're like, oh, cool, update. Huh. Not only was she being harassed by the sun all day, it was urging her not to release the board game for fear that it would reveal too many cosmic secrets. She also claimed that the US Navy was watching her because her board game...
In my experience, most of us just know someone that is a good listener and somewhat wise. That's kind of how we address our mental... Yeah, and that's an insanely toxic way of addressing your mental health. Because you're also... In a situation like that, you are also putting an insane burden on the shoulders of that person who is basically your like pocket therapist now. Is like, if this person is a good listener and whatever, and they're like ready to give answers to things that you might have issues with, it's very possible that they also have more than just you who they give this advice to, or they're just that kind of person who feels like they're like, to be a good person you need to help other people, right? So you are essentially putting your own issues onto their shoulders, even though they don't have the professional expertise to give you genuine help. They can only offer you like band-aids to put on top of your rotting wound, but you can't ever stop the actual rotting unless you get professional help, or you get some kind of crazy revelation that, oh fuck, maybe I should, I don't know, stop doing things like this, which is not really something that humans are generally good for. And that just ends up spreading the mental health issues further, because now the people who are feeling like they're responsible for helping all those people around them for their mental health issues are getting a mental breakdown because they're overwhelmed by the responsibility. I speak from slight experience. Maybe a lot of experience. Maybe Terra is the in-universe creator of the game. She might be. She might be. Europe's biggest lolcow, and yet no, I don't think I've heard of this.
Game reference experimental plasma technology. A little bit of gang stalking in there too. I love that. I love that cosmic horror with just a dash of gang stalking. Many of the people in the comments were being supportive. What? I'm sorry the sun is watching you and the Navy is also on your back. Keep your secret, sister. One man in particular, however, pretended to be the sun and started urging her to buy 30 gallons of gasoline and light her on fire. Jesus Christ! God damn.
That's fucking crazy.
See, now that's a problem. When you know you're openly talking to a mentally unwell person, yeah, get 30 gallons of gasoline and fucking set a school on fire. Yeah, I tapped 2 islands. I'm gonna play Counterspell. Updates would continue all the way up until 2023, and in the end, only a small number of people would actually ever receive the game, making it some sort of collector's item. Everyone else was left behind, despite putting in money and followed the project for years. Which I gotta say, it has to be some kind of like religious tome now.
I was gonna say, she actually released something.
It's insane that the person who was talking to a celestial mass pretending to be the sun and being gang stalked by the US Navy actually fulfilled more products.
Respectable. She got something done. I don't really understand this whole Kickstarter system though, where as long as the campaign gets its money fulfilled, then the person in charge of it can just do what the fuck ever. They have like no legal responsibility to actually fulfill the campaign goals or anything like that. That seems like just purposefully walking on a landmine. It feels like you're just gambling with your money. I don't really like the sound of that.
Yeah, I mean, it just sounds like she's having a mental...
Yes, I mean, she was...
She thinks the sun is talking to her. I think it's not a matter of, I think she might be having.
Yeah. Or do you think she was just faking it to get out?
No. I think that if you no, I think that she was probably going through some shit with the intention still of being like, I want to release this thing, but like physically and mentally I cannot. Most Kickstarter projects rely on advertising and backer interest to succeed, but some people skip making a product entirely and just use the platform to beg for money. Many attribute the rise of beggars on Kickstarter to a 2014 project in which a man simply asked for $10 to make a potato salad. The Kickstarter would go viral and receive over $55,000 in donations and spawn countless other projects similar to it that were just asking for money. Seeing the success from all the potato salad clones, lots of young children and teens started getting on Kickstarter and asking for anywhere from $800 to $2,000 for a gaming set.
It's my understanding that they still had to fulfill their goals or they would be in breach of contract. The problem is most of these people that scam tend to vanish and run with. Yeah, exactly. But they don't. Kickstarter doesn't have any kind of a backup system or something that prevents them from running away with the money. Like that's something that seems a little bit weird to me, that there's no like protective net to prevent that from happening.
The reason they needed such expensive rigs is they wanted to start a gaming YouTube channel or to start streaming, which if I saw that I'd do. Nope. I'd rather have a just kid be like, I just really want a good system so I can play games on the highest quality. I would be more swayed by that. Listen guys, crowdfunding sites are a wonderful thing. After all, there are all sorts of creative people who with brilliant ideas that simply don't have the money to make them a reality, or they don't have the means of getting self-started. They're not business minded enough to take this thing to the next level. So sometimes Kickstarter can just be like, hey, this is my sick idea, do you like it? Pretty cool. Because Kickstarter can be a little risky as far as getting refunded from an unfulfilled project, the many scam campaigns on the site may make you extra hesitant to open your wallet. But if it's a project you really believe in, maybe throw a few bucks into something.
Okay. This one I have been waiting for a long time. Adult babies are buying a town. This sounds so fucking batshit insane that I just have to see this. This sounds so insane that I absolutely need to see this shit. This is just. Let's see what this is all about. It's 20 minutes. This is probably going to be the rest of the stream because it's almost midnight here. And I have a convention tomorrow that I need to wake up early for. So let's enjoy.
Deep within the Mojave Desert.
I love that it's like an actual documentary. Oh no!
Adult diaper furries are slowly buying a town.
I bought all the land, so now the land extends from those trails in that little road all the way over to.
Oh no! Oh, this is already amazing. It's like your average stereotypical redneck hillbilly looking guy walking around, but he's got like a really colorful little baby jumper.
The next gray trailer.
You heard that right. They've been quietly purchasing an old Nevada ghost town and turning it into a full-scale adult baby paradise.
We could shape this place into something absolutely amazing and
No,
absolutely unique.
why are you in the water with your fucking diapers? Isn't that that's gross? No, fuck, don't do that. Shit.
To any other ABDL place in the world.
Look at how big this baby is in the bouncer.
Oh no, one of them is in a
They're not
cage!
just renovating a few old houses. They're building the whole thing from scratch, including obtaining a working fire truck.
The local fire chief told me I could use the ladders and hoses and fill up within reason.
They call themselves baby furs, a niche subsect of the larger furry fandom. But as these diaper-clad...
I need to blow my nose. Fuck, this is making me cry laugh. Ugh. I love shit like this so much.
have flooded this deeply conservative desert town.
Whenever they heard of what was originally called the furry baby people were really off-put about it, and people really concerned. Over the years, it's sort of a thing of they can do whatever they want, they're not hurting anyone.
The baby furs started becoming a vital part of the community.
We are the #2 tourist revenue source in the county. They were very friendly and very excited, and they wanted to try to get me like some state funding.
But paradise often comes with controversy. Even within the furry community, baby furs.
I think the concept of baby furs as they are is already a controversy as it is. I don't know if this is like some kind of rocket science there. Like people are actually surprised that these are like this is like, let's face it, this is a fetish. This is a fetish. These people are just horny people, and this is the thing that that turns them on, and you know, that's fine. If lunatics are gonna think that this is like a funny, crazy thing to go look at as like a tourist attraction, and they don't expect the perverts to be perverts, that's on them. I feel like that's on their own, like, I feel like that's on their own, like, that's their own responsibility. Like, you shouldn't complain about it after you go into the baby fur fucking cult commune.
Face harsh judgment.
There is this belief that baby furs equals pedophilia. It has no connection at all. Your average baby fur, they probably hate pedophiles more than most people.
We've been here a while.
this fucking image is so fucking insane. To give credit where credit is due, having a diaper fetish, I guess, or ABDL fetish is essentially like, it kind of depends. It's either a clothing kink, kind of like a school swimsuit or something like that, or it's like a domination thing, which is not all that rare whatsoever. So there is that, but there is definitely also, like, you know, crossover here. Like, let's not kid ourselves, right? There is crossover here. There are also people in these communities who are attracted to children, which is fucking insane. And yeah, they do give these other guys like, it's a pretty bad image, but I feel like when you look like this, your image can't really get any worse. So, you know.
We're not gonna stop.
So we went undercover to explore this secretive fantasy.
Did you bring your diapers, though?
Many baby furs aren't just hobbyists.
And sort of a commonality.
How are they gonna,
baby furs,
like,
there's a lot of people that are in.
They're gonna see that you're double agents.
Senior leadership positions.
And what we discovered next, well, you just might not even believe.
What about Elon?
What about Elon?
People say he's an ABDL.
Really?
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
So Gizmodo, Elon Musk confirmed.
Oh my god, I love how they're like, wait, is this actually real? Wait, is this real? Confirms he's been role-playing as a toddler for years. But what about but these people are calling him a baby fur, though. Is he a furry? Is Elon Musk, any furries in chat who know, is Elon Musk a furry? If yes, what is his furry persona?
Has been role-playing as a toddler for years.
He was in some sort of like secret group chat where it got leaked that he was like being babied by someone.
His persona is like a budget version of the owl from Duolingo. Makes sense. I assume he is. Oh, okay.
So the first thing I would.
This looks like such a fucking scary place.
That it's a consensual activity with 18 plus. Like, it's all adults. It's not actual children, and it's adults that often maybe didn't have the best child.
His fucking character name is Nacho Husky. Fuck. Like, something like, so I'm not a furry, right? I've been on Fur Affinity since like 2010 or something. I've been drawing porn for furries for like years. It's not really anything new to me. I've delved into the concept of making furry characters or personas or whatever as well, but I never really sort of related to it. I've always found like human-like characters much more relatable and much more attractive, I guess, in general. But furry characters can be like really cool. Like, there's so much more to work with when you make like a furry character than just like clothes and some kind of like small designs that, like, with humans, once you go past a certain threshold, it's not really a human anymore, and then the character starts going into like an uncanny valley or something along those lines where it becomes weird. But with furry characters, you can usually kind of explore creative concepts a little bit more wildly without it being sort of weird, which is cool. But in the fucking furry community, there are so many people like this where it's like, my character is a husky and I like nachos. My character is Nacho Husky. It's like, fuck, there's so much potential and this is what you're gonna fucking go with? Fuck, like, work harder. Shit. I'm sorry. I really like character design. So when I see shit like this, it triggers me. That's like the cringiest part about this video to me. I've been for Affinity for long enough that I've seen the diapers. I've even drawn the diapers for the furries. It's nothing really new for me, but it's just fucking Nacho Husky though. That's like genuine cringe. Don't be Nacho Husky.
Childhood, or maybe just want to go back to their favorite time in life. They want to get away from all the stress and worry, and they just want to be a little kid again. So I'm a purple and green husky. I'm kind of cute and bouncy and full of life, kind of a kid at heart.
Well, a baby fur is a furry who enjoys ABDL, adult baby diaper lover. Basically a kink fetish community that
why was there like a yellow stain in the middle of all those diapers? I don't know. I'm not looking at that again. Fuck.
Some people, like myself, I'm more of a diaper lover. I just like being in diapers and just day drinking and having fun.
But for us, we are quite literally just in our own space, existing, living our most authentic lives.
Does your family or friends know about like all the who you are?
Quite a bit. I don't think my dad, we've ever specifically talked about baby fur, but he's been over to my house and he's seen the giant high chair and the ball pit. So I think he can kind of put two and two together. So this is Zesty Cheese Ranch.
Like, imagine like being like a traditional redneck dad going to your son's house and it's like this. You're just like, oh fuck, what is going on over here? Why is the building SpongeBob? Why is SpongeBob now in the building? Yeah, very, very this has to be an interesting experience for like a very conservative parent. Not that I think that you should necessarily respect the wishes of conservative parents, but this is one way to do it. This is one way to rebel against the machine.
Goldfield, Nevada, which is a small ghost town right in between Las Vegas and Reno. And we've built out Zesty Cheese Ranch, this kind of interesting little baby fur campsite.
Oh, it's cheese. It's not SpongeBob. Okay.
Kind of do a summer camp activity. A school bus. This is the fire truck. The local fire chief told me I could use the ladders and hoses and fill up within reason.
What's within reason?
I'm not sure. So why don't we walk? Let's try walking around this outside, and then you can see the original trailer. They're bringing a crib. They're setting up. So this is the original trailer that came with the property when I bought it.
That actually makes sense, Bear. It might actually be.
Little trailer and a whole bunch of dirt. And since then, I bought all the land. So now the land extends from those trailers and that little road all the way over to the next gray trailer.
This is bought like slowly through.
Yellow strip on diaper is normal. pH sensitive strip that changes color to tell you if you wet the diaper. Oh, I didn't know about that. See, there's a furry diaper expert in chat immediately. Very good. That's actually pretty smart. Respect to these guys for the fact that they understand that what they do is peculiar and not necessarily socially acceptable. They purposefully isolate themselves so that they can do what they enjoy in life, and which is being furries in diapers, in this place where they don't bother anyone with it. So they don't get pointlessly scrutinized for it either. So, I if there's one way to do this, if there's one way to do this, and I feel like this is a pretty respectable way to do it, even though it's funny as shit and freaky as hell.
Yeah, over the last 4 years.
Over the last 4 years.
Yeah, so it started with this little hill. A person in town came and sold me the land for a couple $1,000s and said they thought I should have it so we could build a pirate ship on the top of the hill.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering why, like how expensive this land was, and considering how insanely desolate it looks, it makes sense that it would be this cheap.
Pirate ship.
Yeah, that's one of the building projects. So I've been buying up lots kind of slowly over the years. They keep coming up for auction. And the interesting thing is I think all the people in town sort of know me. No one ever bids against me at the auction. I always get these things for minimum bid. So I want to say maybe 20-ish lots.
I only heard really ramblings of, oh, this guy is building this place in this remote little area in Nevada. Now seeing it in person, it's kind of mind-blowing. Just with the scenery, the weather, the people here, the sort of thing he's trying to shape is really, really, really interesting, because it's just so different from really anything else you could do. Especially in a place like this, you really have no real boundaries.
I don't even remember how long they've been here. I think it just sort of, they were here one year and I was just like, okay, this is a thing now. I'm the 4th generation to stand behind that grill. Goldfield's always just been odd, you know?
This guy's just like the face of the town at this point. He's just like, you know, I've seen aliens, I've seen fucking crazy shit, wild stuff happens over here. This is pretty normal. It's just, you know, it's just the thing that's going on in this generation.
You know, there's a very big area of like purity culture and this and that. So people, like, whenever they...
Yeah, it looked like there was a lot of alcohol involved in that equation back there in the house and whatever. It looked like there was a lot of alcohol in this.
They heard of like the what was originally called the furry baby people.
Baby furs, yeah.
Yeah, people were really off-put about it, and people like really concerned. Over the years, it's sort of a thing of they can do whatever they want. They're not hurting anyone.
One of the townspeople called me up for Christmas and said, "Nacho, I got a Christmas gift for you. I got you a school bus."
It's a gift.
Yeah.
We have a permanent residential population of...
They're dumping their trash on him and they're calling it gifts. I mean, one man's trash is another man's treasure.
105 or 6. But the average age of people around here is around late 60s, early 70s, and that's average age, you know? Like you take...
So, from the way I understand it, Yasu, since you're asking, I think this isn't... It's not that they live here. This is like an external little project that they're working on. That's more like a holiday place. Maybe that one guy who buys all the land might be the only one who actually lives around here somewhere. But the other guys seem to be just sort of visiting there for like a theme park. So that's sort of, yeah, they vacation here. I think that's what it is. Yeah.
Anyone off the street, you're gonna find a couple of 80-year-olds. I didn't even know they were buying up properties until you guys came in and told me.
Do the baby first tip well?
They do. They do.
But Zesty Cheese Ranch in this...
Yeah, very, very common of furries. They do indeed pay well when they get what they want, which is one great thing about the furries.
Camper experience they refer to as Camp Crinkle
not
only bring people to Goldfield, but bring people to a more comfortable version of themselves.
Human Lucas is more reserved, conservative. One of the cool parts is that nobody really knows anyone's legal names.
Oh, really?
Well, because we all go by our Sona names, so it's more of a, oh, that's, Lucas, so that's, so-and-so. And then you kind of have to think, oh, wait, what's their actual name?
Oftentimes someone will play caretaker.
The only thing is that this is like clearly in a really, really, really hot place. And I don't mean hot by like, but like it's fucking warm. Like you can see how red these people are. They probably cannot go outside in their furry outfits all that well, because heat strokes in fursuits, they are a very serious concern. So Yeah, exactly. It's crazy hot out there, so that is a deficit that they must like. The next project should be like this giant cooled building with crazy air conditioning, so that all the they can wear their furry outfits
The adult.
without
So whether
dying.
they're like a camp counselor, a parent, an uncle, they'll kind of help hold that space. They'll be getting you snacks. They'll be getting you your sippy cup. They'll be making sure you're happy and cared for, just like a little kid growing up. The event we do here, a lot of the sort of caretakers will play like camp counselors. Like, so we'll do so we'll do an afternoon of role play. Most of the time people are just kind of hanging out, drinking, interacting with friends, but we will do an activity in the afternoon where we'll do a role play where it's like, imagine going back in time to summer camp. There's nap time, and we're going to go for a little hike, and everyone's going to hold the little leash, or
Yeah, a lot of so I've just like sexual psychology is something that I consider very interesting. It's something that I usually talk about. Sometimes I talk about on my panels and stuff like that. And like the development of fetishes and fetishism in general is like an interesting, really interesting topic to me because I draw comics that have to do with a lot of weird fetishes and whatever. So sort of understanding why these fetishes exists and stuff like that is like a pretty interesting topic of discussion that I very very often like to talk about. The the thing with this kind of fetish is obviously that it's kind of the so there's a lot of people online, especially like I guess in the furry community there's a lot of people who are like, oh, I'm like my character is like the most powerful character ever, and they have all the powers, and they're the coolest, and they can do everything, and they can like when they're doing their role plays and whatever, their character is always like very dominant and in charge, and they're like the daddy, and they can make all the decisions, and they're always correct, and they hate to be questioned or called stupid. um Usually people who are like this are people who maybe feel like they don't have a lot of control in real life, and they try to obtain that control in this like fetish fantasy worldscape where they can feel like they still have some control over their life. They are still powerful. They're cool, and they're respectable, and people appreciate them, and people appreciate what they have to say, and people want to listen to their words because they're wise and whatever. Basically, the whole idea of the fetish is that they just want to feel important, and they want to feel in control, so that they still have some tendency or like some semblance of it in their life, which might be lacking that control in some aspects, where maybe they don't have the job they wanted, and they're getting shafted by their supervisor, or maybe things that just didn't work out, and they're unemployed or something like that, and maybe nobody really respects them because they don't output socially super well in real life, so they always end up an outcast in social situations. So in a situation like this where they can choose their own fantasy, they want to feel like they're powerful, and they don't want to feel like they're that same person who they are in real life. And this is like the complete opposite of that, where these people have grown an aversion toward the responsibilities of adult life, which is understandable, especially in the States where it can be really stressful when you have to be afraid of getting the flu because you're gonna die to it because nobody's gonna fucking help you. There's money, there's taxes, there's social expectations that people set for you when you're an adult. There's a lot of like sort of like duties that you must fulfill as an adult. You must provide for yourself, or maybe for your family. There's money involved. You have to be responsible, you have to be hardworking, you have to be all these things. And this is essentially a way for these people to try to escape into a memory that they feel is more valuable or more desirable, which is, I guess, childhood in some sense. And they also associate their adult needs into it, which is usually sexual ones. So it becomes like this fetish amalgamate of yearning for that innocent, simple life where all you need to worry about is if you're gonna get a cavity from eating too much sugar, and also jerking off while you're doing that. So like the kind of like mental games that go behind these kinds of fetishes, they're really interesting. And I wish I had people to talk about this kind of stuff with, but people generally don't really give a shit about it. But it's really interesting, like this kind of you can sort of apply some kind of logic to the development of any kind of fetish, whatever it may be. So, but this one is like pretty easy to explain for sure, because yearning for, like, I don't think there's a lot of people, especially adults, and in the more high position in life you are, or I guess the more social pressure or expectations there are on you, the more likely the person has a desire to not have to deal with that shit all the time. Like, I can absolutely relate to the not wanting to have social pressure on me all the time, because in normal working life, I usually have a lot of social pressure on me. I'm a somewhat public figure. People expect some kind of quality from me at all times. People expect me to be a specific way. People generally expect me to be at like conventions and events. They expect me to be like socially ready, to always be, you know, outputting well and whatever. So when I go on vacation, I generally don't want to play mommy to people. I do, and it's just a way of saying that I don't want to be super responsible during my vacation, because I'm trying to take my mind out of that like work mentality. But all of my friends are fucking losers, so that doesn't really work out like that. Except for Kwon. Kwon is pretty nice. So yeah. But yeah, I can understand, like, this is like a more severe case of like the normal social, like, wanting to escape from the social anxiety. Most people just do it by like escapism, like playing video games or something like that, to forget their daily worries. You can escape into the world of MMORPG Final Fantasy 14 to get scammed out of your money for stupid fucking garbage game design, instead of being in real life. So it's different solutions. This is just an insanely extreme version of it.
Water balloon fight.
Is the diaper symbolic, or do you actually use the diaper?
It's going to vary between people. Some people use it. There's actually a lot in our community that have legitimate medical needs, and so getting to sort of role play. And
I would say that in most cases, considering this is the States, the people who say that they have legitimate medical needs is just that they're afraid of admitting that they are just perverts and they just want to do it. I'm sure there are actual people who do have legitimate medical needs, and they are using the fetish to sort of deal with the shame that is associated with that kind of stuff, which is a very common thing to do with fetishes, is to like deal with things about yourself that you don't really appreciate. But I feel like in this case, I think that in like, let's say like 30% at least of the cases, it's not actually a medical situation. They haven't been diagnosed. They self-diagnosed because they want an excuse to shit their diapers. Shit your diapers. You're in a fucking baby for whatever community. I mean, I guess they're kind of expecting that.
And kind of have fun with
Yeah, it's Yersu is escaping from reality right now. He's playing Final Fantasy 14. Got called nasty as well. God, even Final Fantasy 14 is getting toxic.
That is a healthy outlet.
Yeah, sometimes it takes too long to soak your diaper, especially out here in the desert heat. You generally sweat out a lot of that liquid, so some people will just pour water and whatnot into their diaper just to puff it back up.
So it's important that it's soaked.
It helps for some people. Others, they just like the aesthetic or they just like the feel of it of a dry diaper.
Right.
Some people like it like a little moist to keep
But it's called
moisture out.
it's called Camp Crinkle though. It's not crinkling if it's full of water. Or any diaper specialists in chat, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think it's gonna crinkle if it's full of water. Just saying.
Down there.
Right.
I've seen that term stay soggy.
Yeah. It's kind of a halfway joke kind of thing.
Yeah. I heard about like oatmeal too.
Most people don't like to poo for their diaper.
Right. Because it's
clamp
too messy.
Yeah, the clamp is a pain in the ass. Literally.
The swing set was another camper who randomly texted me and said, "Can I build a swing set?" And I said, "Sure." And I came to the property one day and there was a swing set, and if you notice, there's an adult version of the baby harness.
Oh wow. Yeah, I like that your feet can't touch the ground. That's very childlike wonder. Has anyone ever done a full loop?
I wonder what kind of company produces these things. Like this is obviously meant for an adult, but it's built like it's for like. Does he build them himself? What the fuck?
Get you all in there.
You're watching Breaking Stories. Look at this. Okay, I'm starting to get this. Yeah. Camp Crinkle.
It was an IKEA reinforced.
Oh, he built it himself.
I
I mean,
so it could hold several hundred pounds, and this is what it's all about. So this was sort of
hey,
I came
you
out
know,
here, and there was a little trailer and this piece of land
bro
for
is just
sale,
having fun.
$14,000.
You can see the genuine joy on his face while he's getting put into his bondage harness.
Like electricians and
Yeah, like look, he's having a
plumbers,
great time.
And you could hire them to help you for, at least compared to San
Fucking,
Francisco,
you know,
much more reasonable.
do
rates. I found
whatever
out
makes
the-
you happy, I guess.
the
As long as it
Joint
doesn't bother
House
anyone
Commission,
else.
Esmeralda and Nye County,
It's totally
we are
okay.
the number 2 like tourist revenue source in the county. They were very friendly and very excited, and they wanted to try to get me like some state funding, which I did decline because we don't need
They're
funding.
trying to get state funding for Camp Crinkle.
Yeah, that's what they had offered.
Why did you turn it down?
I figured, I don't want Vice News or TMZ showing up with, state of Nevada sponsors weird baby town in middle of desert. Yeah, so just about every year I have a friend who will end up buying land in town. And sort of my crazy dream is to, continue to build the town and have this basically baby fur community. Because a bunch of us work remotely.
You're the mayor.
I mean,
no,
I know that the fetish is pretty popular for sure. It's like one of those more well known of these like extreme kinks that are like socially super like frowned upon. But are there enough of them to fill an entire ghost town? I guess so. Maybe. How does that guy see out of his fursuit head though? Maybe that's a part of the enjoyment is that you don't see what the fuck is going on. Yeah, it does say Zesty Cheese, Ranch, Diaper Force, Sheriff Nacho. Yeah, Nacho. Yeah.
do not want to be the mayor.
God bless America. The American flag needs to be there as well, and the rainbow flag as well.
Super welcoming, accepting, and then just zero judgment or worry. You come here to kind of forget about adult worries and stresses in life. So.
See? That's exactly what I just said. I know this shit. I've seen this shit. I am very familiar with everything. You can always trust in the word of Mae-mae.
Camp Crinkle was sort of like the sound the diapers make, kind of a crinkling sound as people walk.
That's what he meant, crinkle.
Yeah.
Crinkling
So
around.
it was sort of a baby fur joke. People don't want to go across a room and be like, "Oh, you're in a diaper," right? They don't want to embarrass someone. Yeah. So what they might say is, "Oh, are you crinkly?" Because the plastic makes sort of a crinkling sound as you walk. So
I hate these fucking close-up angles into their crotches. It is so off-putting. Like, please stop.
Was a buzz, or maybe I should say a crinkle, with people coming out as baby furs and diaper furs.
November's been a pretty busy month in terms of baby fur drama.
I know that some people have a disgust for baby furs, which is honestly kind of sad because baby furs are a sub-fandom of the furry fandom. We're all furries.
It's fetish content is a lie.
Let's face it, okay? Just because the furry community preaches a lot of like unity and like understanding everyone and whatever stuff like that, people are still people. And even if you want to associate yourself with a character that isn't a human, it is unfortunately human nature that we are a very predatory species, and doesn't matter if the furries are trying to preach a good word. They're still insanely racist furries. They're still insanely hateful furries. Shit people are something that you can weed out with positivity. They will always exist.
Out on the home page of Twitch. It's not a coping mechanism. It's not this old cute thing. It is a fetish.
I know what you're thinking.
I mean, yeah, it
That
is.
sounds a little...
I don't think there is anything unclear about this, and I don't think we should try to act like it's not a fetish. I don't think that's a healthy way to look at it either. But I mean, so what? Fucking big boobs or feet are also a fetish. So
unusual. But hey, furries don't exactly want
also
most normal...
let's be fair here. Nobody's complaining about the fact that Twitch front page is covered in fucking women in bathtubs, or there's been multiple people who's just fucking, they're just pussies just visible on the stream until they get banned or something like that. So Twitch isn't really, it's not anything new that you see something fucking freaky on Twitch, okay? Confederate for, oh yeah, I've seen a lot of, I've been asked by Nazi furries to make fuck, what was it? Nazi furries who wanted me to draw them fetish artwork of characters with foreskins that are long enough to reach their toes. That was like the specific thing that they asked. I've seen a lot of shit, you know. I've been drawing shit for furries for a long time. I obviously didn't do that because, first of all, what the fuck? Second of all, I don't do anything political. I don't do any kind of political. It doesn't matter which direction it goes. Like signaling anything political. I don't want to associate with anything political with my artwork. Obviously, there are like things like ideologies and stuff like that that I put into my works as like topics of discussion and stuff like that. Like my nihilistic worldviews of not believing that any people are inherently good, or that I think that everything humans ever do is like ultimately rooted in selfish actions, and other like negative worldviews that I have. I don't like preach those as some kind of thing that everyone needs to listen to. They're just a part of my stories in my fantasy books and stuff like that. But any kind of political stuff, I stay very far away from. Like, oh, this political group is bad, or this political group is good, or this way of thinking is good, or this way of thinking is bad. It's just, I don't. Oh, I have my. Wait, how do I make this? Oh, there we go. I haven't streamed it a little bit, so I forgot the little thingy spinning there. I just don't like to associate with anything political, because the political landscape of the world changes constantly. So even if you say one thing is good this month, it might be bad the next month. So I don't give a shit about stuff like that. But yeah, there's a lot of there was a big fight because the Nazi furries wanted to be at conventions, and they wanted to have like those badges on them that didn't have a swastika, but they had like a paw print or something like that, designed, color scheme, everything like that, very similar to a swastika. And there was a big fight over some people saying that they should be allowed to have this, and other people saying that they shouldn't, and whatever. But yeah, I'm not gonna stick my dick into that fucking honeypot. Fuck that shit. Thank you, but no thank you.
Normal hobby award either. The truth is, it's a community that arguably is even more misunderstood than furries.
But there is sort of like that stigma within the furry community, right? Especially because they find, diapers are weird. It's a little odd. But I think there's when
It's not a little odd.
That is
I'm sorry to tell
you
you.
feel like you're an outsider and you're getting sort of picked on, then for some reason one of the responses will have is that they'll pick on the outsiders within the outsider community.
Yeah,
like, well, I'm
of
weird,
course.
but at least I'm not.
Yeah, exactly. This is this was just what I was just saying, is that when people see weakness and an opportunity to put others down so that they can feel better about themselves, they will take that opportunity. They will absolutely do it, because that's how people work. It is completely normal human nature.
That weird. I'm gay, but at least I'm not one of those furry gays. And I get from the outside there is a consent thing. Sometimes it gets misunderstood where people assume that because you're role playing as a younger character that you want to hang out with younger, with children, which it's not. It's all consenting adults that it's people who want to be the children. Right. They want to be cared for. They want to be looked after.
Been a furry for about almost 10 years now. I started out as a brony, but that kind of morphed into being a full-on furry. There is this belief that baby furs
the gateway drug
pedophilia. It has no connection at all.
I mean, that's not true. That's not true. There are obviously bridges that you can build between those. Just because that's not the overall consensus of the community, that doesn't change the fact that this is easily something that can, like, people who have interests like that can bridge a way over here as well, for sure.
For one, not a pedophile. Two, they probably hate pedophiles more than most people.
I do believe the whole thing of your favorite fursuiters wear diapers is very true.
Is that a thing that people say?
Yes, I've heard it said a lot, especially on like Twitter.
Like I try not to focus on people who are like trying to be negative, but I mean, if you're not into something, just don't participate. It's not hard, so.
But as we mentioned earlier, many baby furs are low-key ballin' and hold lucrative jobs in tech and cybersecurity.
This is the penthouse suite. Cher was here last night, and last week Kamala Harris stayed here. Bill Clinton's been here.
A very famous penthouse. Almost every president has stayed there, like Bill Clinton. They filmed The Rock with Sean Connery, where he gets pushed off the balcony. If you've seen that scene where he's getting his hair cut and he throws the guy off the balcony, that's that suite. And they signed the UN into existence on the desk in the suite.
UN was formed.
Yeah. So I got to be in my, my baby fur attire and my little kid outfit as I stayed over in the suite. And so the next morning, I'm like running around with my plushies and my short-alls.
How much is for a night?
I think it's around $50,000 a night. And sort of a commonality I've noticed with baby furs is there's a lot of people that are in kind of senior leadership positions. In my case, I own a small business, so it's a lot of stress.
See?
It's like the bullet holes on.
I like exactly like I said, is that the higher the positions they have, the more likely they are to be here with these guys. So yeah, this guy can afford $50K a night just to play a baby fur in the room where all those movies and important things happened. So yeah, I mean, fuck, whatever works for you.
The router I shot, piece of networking equipment for my day job. And I think sort of one of the commonalities is a lot of people just sort of wanting to relive their childhood.
There's a lot of
my case,
censored.
Really
There's a lot of something censored
really
there.
Rather fast, didn't have necessarily the most supportive parents. So baby fur was sort of the chance to get to like relive childhood, get to go to the summer camp I never got to as a kid. And the fire truck was right
that makes a lot of sense too, is that people who might have sometimes we say that someone has like daddy issues or something like that, is when they didn't get enough affection from their parents or something like that. And this is like an extreme version of that. That is like, there's always some kind of consequence usually to people's fetishes, and they're usually interestingly enough, people's fetishes are some kind of like like almost like a mirror into their life that has led to this point so far, which is really interesting. It's there's a lot of things you can learn about these.
Fire truck that was $2,400. It's full of you know, diapers and fireworks.
It seems like a bad combination.
Some kind of takeables.
Is that My Little Pony? This is like Timu My Little Pony.
For me, it's more the sensation. I put one on, and it just kind of something clicked in the lizard brain that I went.
Yeah,
oh,
yeah, but you might still have a craving for some kind of responsible figure in your life who can kind of assist you when you feel like there's nothing else that you can sort of when you feel like all the ropes of life have been pulled away from your grasp. You want there to be someone who is always confident and will always be like, don't worry, bro, I got you.
I've been worrying 24/7 for about like 2.5, almost 3 years.
You're doing this 24/7.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a baby here and I'm a baby at home.
Gotcha.
But I mean, some people, I guess, just like to do it for a temporary period. I enjoy being a full-time baby. Maybe 2 years ago, like a case of 80 diapers was maybe like, I think it was like $260, like sometimes $260 to $280. And then now it's like I'm definitely paying over like $300 a month.
My preferred brand is from a company called Pretend Again. They're called they're called Try Again diapers. They're a bit cool because they're just they're cloth back. They're a bit lighter, a bit more airy, and they're a bit lighter, but they can still have a lot larger capacity too.
Who are you wearing?
So right now this is a cloth back Cushies by ABU, medium size, a little bit big for me. I usually wear smalls.
How many would you say you go through in like a weekend like this?
I'd say probably 10 if we're...
They're like fucking smokers. They're like, how many cigarettes do you smoke per day? How many diapers do you go through in a week? God damn.
Probably 10, just in case of more accents throughout the day or stuff like this or whatever. I mean, I love playing with dinos. I mean, I love just basically any, like, baby, toddler toys. I love Duplos. I love coloring.
No, that's Legos. That's Legos. You fucking fake fans. That wasn't Duplos. That was not Duplos.
Like, I had a lot of, like, I
Fucking
guess I got a lot of
casuals.
little desires, and like,
At least
again,
diapers
it's,
don't damage. Yeah,
I used to
true.
think I was
Unless you
the
get
only
diaper
one,
rash.
And then once I started meeting people, it was just, it felt like it was okay to start embracing it instead of like trying to suppress it and be normal or whatever normal is. But we've been here a while, and we're not gonna stop.
This guy looks like one of my friends from like high school, and it fucking fucks with my mind so hard. He has that like exact same energy as that guy did, and the same build. So fucked up.
You can make it an entire lifestyle, which a lot of us here do. It's just part of us.
Were they Duplos? No, they weren't. The fuck? I can't find it.
Don't knock it until you try it. Diapers are really cheap. It's like you could get one for like $6. Try it out yourself. You might like it.
Help but admit that I was uncomfortable in Babytown. We kind of come back to this question that you and I have asked each other a lot during making this of like, what is weird?
What is weird? Like, I will argue, and you can totally disagree, they kind of share the same stigma that
Wooden railroads with trains and magnetic. I was always jealous of those. We had those at my daycare, but I couldn't ever get one. I did have the Duplo train though. So take that. The Duplo train had it was battery operated, and you could make like your own train tracks with the plastic pieces, and you could make all kinds of crazy nonsense fucking tracks and whatever. So, the Duplo, that was the good shit, to be honest.
trans people or gay people once shared. Like, of course, those three groups are very, very different, right? But the stigma they had on them are very similar. Like, think about it, like, in the 90s, how common it is to make fun of trans people on mainstream media.
Ace Ventura.
Ace Ventura.
Ace Ventura.
Great movie.
The
Very transphobic. Because I remember when I was 15 in China, almost 20 years ago. It's weird to not be homophobic. I was a big fan of Queen. At the time, you know, I didn't have a computer, so I didn't even know anything what they look like. I look it up, and I found out the lead singer, Freddie Mercury, is gay and died from AIDS. My initial reaction was I was disgusted. And then I kind of work, you know, over it. And that's actually the first step for me to not be homophobic to the LGBTQ. Exposure may be the first step of acceptance or at least understanding. Like you can see Goldfield as a conservative town. They're okay with the baby furs. I don't know if they're invited to the cookout.
But here's the thing is like the baby furs came in, they employed people in the town. The baby furs have only done good in Goldfield. And anything that I'm feeling is internal stuff that I'm projecting onto them because they're, like they said, they're kind of living their best lives and doing their thing. And if they're doing it out in the desert, away from everybody as much as they can.
Probably the best place to do it.
Probably the best place on earth for them to be.
That's a really good point.
My God, I guess they can go do that, right?
Yep.
Like, who the fuck am I to come in to
Don't
their
stop
place and say,
zooming.
well, I feel uncomfortable about this. It's like, motherfucker, I drove 2.5 hours to get there. What do you mean you feel uncomfortable?
Oh, this is utterly disgusting. Let me get another angle.
Like you said, acceptance comes from exposure.
And maybe being uncomfortable is a necessary step of that exposure. Conservative people who are uncomfortable about Asians, you know,
Right.
black people, gay people, whatever. They feel uncomfortable, but don't stop there. It's
Right,
what
they
I'm
have
saying.
to work through that.
Yeah,
though.
don't stop there. Right.
Right? Like, that's the thing is you love Freddie Mercury. You think he's this incredible artist. He's humanized to you.
I accept that being gay is just one of the many things that he is. He's so much more than that. And why do I have to fix it on that instead of looking at him, like you said, as a complete human being?
Maybe this video
Yeah.
can be the first step in a lot of people becoming accepting of baby furs.
Right. With that being said, next time when I see you, are you going to show up with a diaper?
No.
That was honestly a really good video. That was fucking hilarious. Very informative, very interesting, and just fun to talk about. That was a great suggestion. Whoever, I think it was TechCon who dropped this. There was a fantastic pull. Fantastic pull in the infinite gacha of internet nonsense nightmare shit. Very cool. But now I need to actually go to bed because I need to wake up early tomorrow because work. I have work. I have responsibilities. I can't just sit at home and play with Duplo. I have to go to do some work. So yeah. Anyway, I will see you guys again. Probably next week. Don't know exactly what day. Maybe we could do some more Tomodachi Life. I also need to do some drawing next week that I could do on stream. Maybe. I'm going to take Monday and Tuesday off as my weekend since I'm going to be working the whole weekend and I'm not fighting with insane deadlines right now, so I can actually have weekends. So yeah. But I will see you guys again next week. If you're coming over to Comic-Con, come buy things. Don't waste your money on the stupid crap that we saw on the Kickstarter video, and instead buy my things. That's the best way. That's the best way to use your money. Anyway, I will see you guys later. Good night. Well, remind Mae-mae to raid. I don't feel like raiding. It sounds like a lot of effort. I haven't done that in like 2 years, so I'm not gonna do it. Not gonna do it now either. Anyway, I hope you.